Time's up, Admiral.
Here it comes.
By the power of Grayskull!
I am dumping unlimited power into you. That's what
all Shooty wanted to do was be inside me. It was one of the first James Bond movies I watched, so I have a bit of a connection to it. And
that's Dermot's excuse.
I fuck.
It was their first date, Adam. Shut up.
I will stop bringing it up. I don't give a fuck what that wannabe VTuber cunt wants to say. Okay, let me have my moment.
Dude, that's like a test of strength. That's not gay. That's like I'm gonna grip you. I'm gonna grip you harder than you grip me.
Imagine for a moment, if you will, being Adam's neighbor. You're sitting in your favorite easy chair. Maybe you got a cup of tea, and you're reading your favorite book. And out of nowhere, through the wall, you hear this: "Culturally appropriate my dick."
We named zombies after you in that game.
Yeah,
rightfully so.
Yeah, I mean, they're these big fat bloaters that sun themselves, and they just lay there.
Yeah. Oh, those are the things that come out of my rainbow's ass.
And that is just.
Oh God,
those eyes, dude. Those eyes, man. Those eyes.
Pretty eyes.
I'm not looking at them eyes right now. You know what?
I know, but she is a total package. She is a total package.
I usually think Ryan. I usually think Ryan is very cringe when he says this, but she can shit in my mouth.
Whoa, Dermy!
Why do you have to ruin this?
What the fuck?
Why
Ryan says that shit. Fuck, Ryan says this shit.
If Ryan jumped off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge?
But you just
for her, yeah.
Would. Here we are worshiping this beautiful woman, and you're talking about German shit eating. I mean, come on.
Listen. I will drag my ball sack.
No. Listen.
100 miles worth of
shut the fuck up.
Broken glass, salt, and lemon juice just to smell her farts.
We're not on your goddamn stream. We're on Adam's stream. We're
wow,
supposed to respect the man's house. You don't take shit in his goddamn fridge.
I wonder what the championship belt would look like. Just like a big ass.
It'd be my penis wrapped around their waist. Come.
They warned us about people like you.
And to be fair, racist was Hitler. All right.
Well, as you said, it's been an interesting week, and I think we have to take a moment. All right, I want everybody to join hands. If you're next to Jeremy, you don't have to touch him. It's okay. Join hands. I want you all to listen to the Lord. I want you to thank Jesus for the saving grace of delivering us from the acolyte and from Halo this week. He reached down with his glorious touch and he moved heaven and earth to make sure we no longer have to suffer these sins. So I want you to say, praise Jesus, because the acolyte is filled with the demons that are reaching deep down inside and telling you, use that lightsaber as a penis. Realize that you can abuse your loved one and she will still love you. And realize that with Halo, you can enjoy that man ass. And when that man ass is there, when those cheeks are in your face, you can understand that his helmet is off and it's okay. So praise Jesus for leaving us these sins. Amen.
So where's Melody back when we need her?
Oh, wait.
You're a blasphemous
Reverend Rabbi
I
Adam.
think there's a bit of blasphemy here because Jewish Jesus.
I think Reverend Rabbi Adam jumped the book that his people were starting with and went to the other book.
So that's the original thing of shipping. The problem is nowadays it is morphed into a weirdness where you have stans, these fake fans, who will take characters that have no reason to be in a relationship whatsoever, gay or straight, and they will ship them together to be in a relationship. And most of the time they want it to be gay.
A few moments later.
It's essentially when you get somebody who takes individuals like D-Day Cobra. Okay, you see Jeremy.
Oh God,
there.
don't make them
And then
kiss.
they take Ryan.
Stop it.
No, shut up. So
This
they
is
take
worse than
swear to
you
God.
and
kissing
they start
Ryan.
making fan
All
art of maybe Ryan bit. Wait, no, okay, this is Jeremy.
This
bent
isn't going
over
to take
and-
away
and
from you
Ryan
making
like
out with
this.
Ryan.
Let him finish.
Okay? Ryan like this, or the other way around, and sometimes 60-90, and it's just a bunch of internet freaks saying these two should be together.
Beat down that Sauron.
Oh my God! He can't control himself, Ryan. Okay.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
Sometimes I wonder if I have self-control or not. The things I say, the things I let Dermy say, I don't know. Anyway, welcome to Mellow Mondays, where weird stuff happens. And as I said, I wonder if I have self-control. Devil, I shaved finally after over a week. I shaved. I gave a shit today.
You're never gonna get your man patch if you keep doing this.
You sound a little muffled.
Do I?
Yeah, a little muffled. Maybe just bring your mic a little closer. I don't know. Anyway, well, hey, listen, my man patch is fine. It's fine. I have a man card. I don't have a man patch. I have a man card, and it's got all its points, most of its points.
No, your facial hair, man.
I had facial hair. I shaved.
No, dude, your scruff is not a man patch. You got to get the beard. You got to get a full beard.
Listen, I did that when I was younger, and I didn't really want to do it. I want the ladies to see all this and know what they're getting. Okay, they need to know what they're getting.
They want the beard, dude.
Mm.
Ladies want the beard.
I mean, it's not smooth. It's rough, but it's manly. It's manly rough.
Well, women and Cloud, because in the whole Yeti thing. And...
Oh, all right. So there's the clip there with the whole Alexander Daddario thing. That's one of the best clips that we've ever had on the show, thanks to Dermot. And were you there on Saturday when he reversed it, or did you showed up on Saturday night?
No.
Okay. So at one point, I forget exactly what, because I was doing something else. I don't know. Maybe I was playing a game. I don't know. But we were talking about something beautiful, and then I think it was Cloud that made it dirty, and it literally was that scene, except Dermy was playing my role in that scene, saying, "How can you ruin us worshiping this? You're talking about shitting and it's like something happened in reality."
Reversed.
Yeah, and Dermy was the voice of reason with Cloud, making it a horrible, disgusting situation. So I was weirded out.
Cloud is the only person who could be degenerate enough to make Dermy seem normal.
So here's the thing. Yesterday, this is green room stuff, so it's not really secret. So Jed and I were hanging out after show for a couple of days, and he was talking about how he was using Grok for research on his new book, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm teaching Skynet about physics and quantum this," and I said, "Yeah, you know what I was helping Grok with? I was asking Grok 3 if Dermy was gay and Cloud was a gooner." That's what I was trying to get Grok to say, that Dermy was gay, so that I could bring it up on show, and that Cloud is a gooner. So while Jed is making Grok smarter, I'm making it retarded. It balances out. I'm proud of myself. Come on.
Do I still sound muffled?
Slightly.
Let's see if I. What about now?
Let's keep going. We'll see if it improves. Anyway, I hope everybody's having a good time. You can see we're short a man right now. As usual, Samuel will show up when he gets home from work. Drew has had to step away from the show. He's got some family stuff that has altered his schedule, so he'll return when his schedule realigns. So It's nothing serious. Drew family's always got to come first. That's that simple. So Drew will join us again when he has the time. And until then, it's always an open door. You never know who might else show up. Drew might get off his fat ass and actually do some work for a change. But anyway, so I do have a show tonight. There's a show to be had. We've got Devil, like last week. I have topics again, real topics, not just. I got the usual random shit that will send us down
expectations.
I know. I got the random shit that'll send us down our normal tangent rabbit holes that we go through. But I do have two topics, and I already told you once. I'm going to announce again. Today, Disney Star Wars dropped the Andor Season 2 trailer. We're going to react to it. I have saved it for now. We'll wait till Samuel gets here because if we're going to suffer, we're all going to suffer. And also, I want to have a conversation because I hear there's a 21st century music track attached to it, to a Star Wars trailer.
That makes no sense, huh?
I know. So I want as much conversation as possible so I can fight fair use. So I can use fair use if I get a claim when I repost it. So we got that. We got a couple other stories. There's a lot of DCU news today, apparently. They announced a bunch of stuff. One thing that I know is broken Bug. Bug is broken right now. He was putting memes up of like guns to head, gun in the mouth. He's broken. And I hope he finds his way through it because he's the only one that I know is going to watch some of that shit. And I sure as hell ain't watching it. So what?
I'm happy that I take nothing as seriously as Bug takes DCU.
He really takes those animators so seriously. I know he's probably watching. He takes those so seriously. He's the only person I know that watches that DC garbage. I mean, I like him. I watched the Spider-Man garbage that we just went through, but I did that for channel purposes, not because I was hoping it was good or anything. But I mean, I've already talked about it. Did you hear how the show ended? The season 1 ended for Spider-Man?
No.
Oh, okay. I want your impression on this. And Chad, I'm sorry. You've already heard me do this, but Devil's a fresh take, so you can enjoy it for that. So I don't know if you remember how I talked about in the beginning. It looked like it was a multiversal thing where the spider comes through a portal. No, it was time travel.
So it's like travel. It's older Peter coming back?
Yes and no. It's a grandfather paradox where during the show, a couple episodes before, Peter got in the shit beat at him by Dime Store Scorpion, and Oscorp took his blood and injected it in the spider that would eventually bite him in the past. And while Doctor Strange was fighting the symbiote beast and he accidentally opened a portal back in time, the spider goes through the portal to bite Peter.
So he's his own Spider-Man.
He creates, but it's not, but it's an infinite loop. So he has to get bitten by the spider from the future to alter his DNA, which gets taken out and put into the spider to alter its DNA so he can bite somebody and alter their DNA, and it goes through the portal again. Yet there's no actual origin for spider power. Yeah. It's bad.
It makes no sense to me.
It doesn't make sense. It's a grandfather paradox. He is his own creator in this sense, but there's no actual moment to birth actual altered DNA for spider power.
Yeah.
The spider that bit him was altered to bite him. It's bad, and the stands think it's awesome.
Why do they put retards in charge of these fucking franchises?
Because they hate it. Deep down inside, they want to alter it and make it a vehicle for agenda and bullshit. That's why. I mean, this thing had light agenda, but the agenda was still in it. It was still there. And they got the season 2, season 3. They're bringing in Spider-Gwen for the next season. I thought it was gonna be Miles Morales. No, it's gonna be Spider-Gwen and other dumb shit. I'm not watching it. I'm done.
I don't care about Miles Morales. Whatever. But Spider-Gwen is just like so stupid. Because in the comic books, she doesn't even have spider power, right? Isn't most of her spider powers like derived from like technology? I know in the movies they changed that up.
I don't know anything about Spider-Gwen. All I know is that Gwen Stacy should be dead. That's all I know. Gwen Stacy should be dead. Yeah. So, are you sure is StreamYard picking up the right mic?
That's what I was tampering with. Like, I went to the settings, and
because it sounds like you're in your it looks normal. You're in your normal position, and the mic's in this normal spot, and it sounds like you're just a little far away from it. Yet you're exactly where you always are.
Let's see. Let's try this.
Man, I know lately I'm trying to make sure I'm close enough to my mic because I know lately it's sometimes I get a little far away from it and I'm not as loud as I should be. So I'm trying to be more aware of that because I have limited space here. I have like 3 inches of room space left here, so I can't bang the desk anymore.
Does this sound better?
There you go. Now you sound normal. What happened?
I had a blackout earlier.
Okay.
Transformer blew. I think it was probably about 3 or 4 blocks away, and so maybe when the thing shut down, maybe it tampered with it. But I just changed it to a different one. And
now you sound perfectly fine. We need those dulcet. We need the dulcet devil tones. Otherwise, it's not right. It's not right then.
Yeah. How else are we supposed to get the girls moist?
My smooth face.
Yeah. The anti-beard is really doing it for him.
Yeah, it is, man. Hey, ladies dig it. All right. At least I hope they do. All right, let's start with this. It's my one side thing. Where is it? Which one is it? Where did it go? Did I lose it? Here we go. Let's start with this because hopefully we'll buy enough time till Samuel gets here. It'll take us down the road. So you know how we're old men. We've seen a lot of stuff. And we've seen a lot of stuff go away in the world around us. Famous chains come and go. Once upon a time, there were things called video stores.
Yeah.
And other, let's just say, corporations had their famous stores that sold things. And they're gone now. We can agree. The things we knew are gone.
Oh, yeah. So much stuff. Answering machines, yeah, pencil sharpeners. You don't see those anymore. But forest porn.
Forest porn?
You've never found forest porn, dude? Well, it's pretty much just a catch-all for porn that you just discover in places you shouldn't.
Let's not trigger another Adam porn rant. Let's not do that. But there's always the question: if you could bring something back, would you? So we got a GIF here. Oh no, we got a meme. Sorry, a meme, not a GIF. A meme. I got a meme. You can only bring one back.
Ooh.
What are you bringing back? I know what I'm bringing back. What
Let's
are you
see.
bringing back?
You got Borders. I don't read books really, so that's not a big deal for me. Toys R Us. I used to get games and stuff from there, but I don't really do collectibles too much and stuff like that. Not to mention they never really had any of the good shit.
They had toys. They didn't have collectibles. It was like toys.
Blockbuster in Hollywood, while I loved renting movies and stuff, they never had the porn section in there, so they were always
because they were corporate.
Bastards. Sears, Radio Shack. Yeah. I mean, I didn't. Shit. That was the place I had to go with my freaking sisters and mother to hold the bags. That's what Sears was. Radio Shack. Now I used to go to Radio Shack. Had to get a bunch of shit. Circuit City, same thing. Payless and Big King. That's a hard one. I would say probably either. Is it Payless shoes? It's just Payless shoes, right?
It's just shoes. It's just Payless shoes. Yeah.
I never been into buying shoes too much. I would always buy like one a year, so I guess don't need that. So I guess Kmart, which is kind of sad because you already have Target and Walmart, but Kmart.
Really? Kmart.
Yeah.
I didn't choose Kmart. It's like Kmart was just Kmart or the Kmart I used to go to when I was in high school. It was the shittiest semi big box store in town.
Oh yeah, it was like the
Walmart was better. And we also had the Sam's Club and eventually the Costco.
Yeah, like if you put them in the thing, Target was like the chick you really had to work with to score. Walmart was the chick that'd give it up easy, and Kmart was the chick you didn't want to score with.
Well, here's the thing that my big Kmart had. It had the built-in Little Caesars.
Oh, nice.
And I would, dude. We've talked about this. I will get that $5 pizza. I will totally get that $5
Sometimes
pizza.
sometimes you need it. Sometimes you just
Sometimes you
need
need
that
two.
greasy ass nasty.
Sometimes you
pizza.
need 2 of them for $10. Get all that. Listen. I would get it. Sometimes I would get it, and I just take it out to the car and eat it right there.
Oh yeah, I don't know how many times I was stoned that was like my saving grace. I was like, oh god, there's no food in the house. Wait, and yeah, I'd pull out a 5 with some change and go get a freaking greasy pizza. I'll explain my reasoning behind Kmart though.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
Understand.
Go ahead.
Because sometimes when you like live in a town that has all 3, sometimes you can't find the shit at Walmart, and so you go to Target. You can't find the shit at Target, and now that's the end of it. Now you have a third option. Maybe Kmart actually has it, even though they rarely had anything that the others 2 didn't have it. But at least there's that opportunity.
I can understand that because sometimes they in their pharmacy section, you know, like they had the better deal on. They had like the toothpaste you were looking for. I can understand that, or I mean, but it was still so skeezy. I hated it. I hated going in there because there was always somebody misbehaving in the Kmart. Always and weird shit going on.
It was usually me.
No,
and not to mention there's a dude I bought pot from who was always out in front of it. So
the people that were making problems at my Kmart, their skin was of a darker color. So
you know what's funny is the dude who was out in front of the Kmart remarkably was very close to Jay from Jay and Silent Bob, which is kind of funny because you know he wore a beanie, had blonde hair, wasn't as long. It was about to here. But yeah, I had a yellow coat. It wasn't the same yellow coat, but yellow coat he wore. And I was just, so I kind of like jokingly, I never called it to him face because I didn't know how he'd take it. But I was always like, dude, I'm gonna go fucking get some. I'm gonna get some fucking pot from this dude, this Jay motherfucker over here.
But yeah, so here's the thing though. Now, like I remember when there was a Kmart where I live now, it went away in the intervening years, and now there's a Lowe's where it used to be. But here I know where 3 different Walmarts are around here. I know where the one Target is, and I stopped going to Target because they raised their prices stupidly. It was just like, why am I going to pay $2 more for the same shit I'll get in Walmart? I mean,
yeah, I think that was because they're all like, if we're not going to be able to beat Walmart because they can't beat Walmart, we'll try to be a little higher end version of Walmart. I guess.
Honestly, I stopped shopping at Target when it was 2012 when they had that massive security breach, and if you had used them in any way, shape, or form, all your personal information had possibly been stolen. So I was like, you know what? I'm done with Target because they didn't say we're sorry, did nothing. It's like, you know what? I'm not going to go there anymore. There's not. And I stopped going. And then once in a while, I would check in and he's like, yeah, it's more expensive. I'm not going to bother. But that's interesting for that. Your choice is Kmart. I wouldn't have seen that. Now, Payless shoes. I'd never been to a Payless in my entire life. I mean, when I was a kid, it was, you had your loafers for your dress up things. So you had that. Or you had your sneakers, and there was a thing called Foot Locker that I went to for sneakers, like everybody else. So that was it. Now I first bought a new pair of shoes this month. I haven't bought a new pair of shoes in like 6 years because I needed the new pair of shoes. The ones I have are falling apart, so it was time for a new one. But all right, then Circuit City. Circuit City was like it's the poor man's Best Buy is what it was. I remember going in there a few times when music was still for sale on CDs and looking through CD racks when it was with the group, with the gang.
In the Wayback Machines?
I mean, and the Circuit City didn't last long. It was like a flash in the pan, out and done.
We had another one up here, but yeah, I always would go to Best Buy, and whenever it was like the CD things, I always tried to go to like, which I'm surprised maybe they're not on here because there weren't more than just in California, but there was places. What were they called?
Well, we
I
had
can't
our
remember
local
the
one.
CD stores. The
Our
stores that
local
were
one was called
specifically for
Plan
music.
9 Records. That was the local one. Where
Yeah,
I was.
and oh god, I can't remember what the ones here were called. And I went to them a billion times, but yeah, I'd go there and fucking spend just forever buying CDs and grabbing CDs because, yeah. God, what were they?
I was never much of a music guy when I was younger, and when I got older, my music taste became very eccentric and eclectic because I like soundtracks, and sometimes I liked anime soundtracks, and that's imports, and you're not going to find that in the record store or a Circuit City or a Best Buy back in the day.
You know where you could find those big time was like I went to San Francisco because they had some really good ones like on Hayden Ashbury, and then I also went to Berkeley. There's a Recipe and Records in Berkeley. You could get some crazy ass shit you couldn't find anywhere else there. Like I would like for a while there, I was into this. Essentially, it's like Nordic death metal. And it was, they had some albums there. They were actually really good. Like hearing death metal, but then with that fucking like fucking Nordic kind of background to it was fucking awesome. So yeah, whenever I'd go to like see black metal or death metal bands in San Francisco, I'd always stop by there. And there was another one on Hay and Ashbury. I can't remember what that one's called either. I'm so bad with names, guys. Right there at the beginning of it. And I would always go to those places because they just, like I said, you could find stuff you didn't find other places, and also they had vinyl too. So cool.
See, who was I talking about that with just a short time ago? I don't remember. It was like last week or somewhere. I forget which show. I never was much into vinyl. Maybe I mean, I was exposed to it as a kid because my real dad, he was into music and he was into recording and all that kind of stuff. And he had a massive jazz collection. And my mom showed me when I was growing up, and we used to have boxes of vinyl. But I guess because I was never so into music, I don't, and I'll say this, I don't appreciate vinyl like others do. I just don't. So I can understand its quality. I just don't have a need or appreciation for it because I'm not such a big music person. I love music, but I'm not, it doesn't reach me on certain levels like I think it does other people. So. Radio Shack. I was surprised that you said you went to Radio Shack a lot. I think in my entire life, I went to Radio Shack maybe 3 times, maybe 4.
Oh yeah, man! I went to Radio Shack all the time because it was right next to a pizza place I liked. So I was over there for other reasons too. My fat ass. But yeah, no, I went in there all the time.
I just never understood Radio Shack's purpose. Because at least the ones that I went into, it seemed haphazard with its inventory.
Oh, it was.
I didn't know what are you selling? Like you're selling remote control cars? Maybe there's a computer part. Maybe there's a used console here or there. I mean, one time we were in a Radio Shack because I was with a friend who was hunting for used consoles. He was hunting to collect used consoles. So we went to a Radio Shack and he was just poking around in there. And I was just going, waiting for him to be done. But I never, and especially with the rise when it was worth something, the rise of Best Buy.
Yeah.
Where they had big inventory for everything. Because you see this Radio Shack right here, that's about as big as they were. Yeah. Tiny little store. Yeah. And most of the ones I ever saw were like in a mall, which means they were even smaller, like an indoor mall, not like a strip mall, but like indoor multi-floor mall. Yeah. And I mean, I never understood.
It was the reason why was because one, I would need plugs or I would need like cords to hook up systems and stuff. But after I got friends with cars and I got a car and stuff and I was able to drive, I did go to Best Buy. But at that time, it was just because of the convenience of it. But yeah, I mean
Frank mentions that, and now I suddenly remember in Short Circuit 2 where Johnny Five's falling apart and they break into a Radio Shack and he basically gets a bunch of spare parts to keep himself going.
Yeah, if you needed stuff to fix electronics and stuff, you could go there. Plugs, freaking cords, any kind of thing that could
but I guess
wire everything together, your speakers and
technology took a leap, and Radio Shack didn't take the leap too. So they became irrelevant, essentially. All right, Sears. Furniture.
Adapters. Yeah.
Furniture. Maybe, I guess they had clothes too, depending on which Sears you were in. Listen, I never bought anything in a Sears in my life.
They still exist. It's I think there's one up in Medford. I've been to a couple times because you actually go through it to get to the mall, at least from the side I park on. And yeah, I mean, yeah, you can get pretty much a ton of different stuff, but I just never really needed to shop there. You know, if I need to choose, I'd go to some other place. If I need, it was always like whatever I needed, I could find other places that were more cheaper and stuff than going to Sears. It just never really kind of crossed my mind to go there. So,
gotta bring this up. The Sears catalog, yeah, but that's like 80s, 70s, 80s, and then part of the 90s when people still where the catalog still came in the mail, and you would either call the number or it came with an order sheet. You could order shit. That's literally a snapshot of history where that's how things were for a while. And as soon as the internet became what it is now, where you could order shit on the internet, that immediately destroyed that entire industry of catalogs.
Could you imagine in like the old West idea where you like go to the general store, you go into the catalog, order the thing, have to wait 8 months for the fucking thing to arrive, and now if freaking Amazon Prime doesn't send it within 2 days, you're in a panic. It's like,
hey man, listen. I finally got a confirmation for my what's supposed to be my routinely delivered basil that I get, because Amazon's the only place I can get it now because Costco stopped selling it. And finally it happened. It's like, we got it. It's coming. And I'm so happy because I'm down to only 2 jars. I've been husbanding it very carefully so I don't run out. And I get annoyed. And now, and you make the point. It's like, you think about it. Wow, back in the olden days, you got to wait for those spools of silk to come from Paris or some shit like that. This shirt was made in Paris. Oh, sorry, it's not in your size. Tough shit. Oh, we haven't gotten the supplies from the bigger. We're in a territory. Supply train hasn't reached here yet.
And now Adam's all like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna run out of basil."
Hey man. Listen. This freeze dried basil I get is the best freaking basil in the world. It's delicious. It elevates anything you put it in. It's fantastic. I love it. Can't live without it. I need it.
Sprinkles in his pants in the morning.
No. My pants are not basily fresh. I didn't know how to end that. I didn't know how to end that.
What is wrong with you?
I guess I'll just blame it on the fact I don't drink from a hose. All right.
Yep, there you go.
All right, let's combine them. Hollywood and Blockbuster. Listen, that's an era right there. I remember before Blockbuster when it was just the local video stores. And when I was a kid, when I lived in Red Bank, New Jersey, in Monmouth County, between Red Bank and Fairhaven, there were 3 places you could rent movies from. There was a place in Red Bank called Jack's Music Shop. I don't know if it's still there. It was a giant music store, CDs, instruments, all kinds of shit. And then at the very back of the store, they had a section for video rental. And that's for the first couple of years in like 85, 86, 87, when, VHS started to really take off and replace Betamax and all that kind of shit. That's where we went for videos. That's where I went to rent videos. And I had no concept of new video. I'm a kid, so I had like zero concept of movie to VHS at the time. Because here's I think I've told this story. Here's my dumbass little kid. It's, there's Samuel. Wait a minute. There he is. Okay. How's the shitternet?
We'll see. We'll see how it is. It's probably as angry as I am at hearing Adam shit on all the Poe people stores.
Yeah.
What am I shitting
This
on Poe
motherfucker
people's
ain't one of
stories?
us.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go.
Now
we go.
we've established he puts basil in his underoos.
No, you established that. I have not co-signed this at all. Hi, Samuel. How are you doing?
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
I'm doing all right, fellas. How we doing?
We're doing okay. But I was saying, like, so there was that music shop, and they had the videos back. My dumbass. This is my dumbass thing. It's 85, and Back to the Future has come out, and I, of course, like everybody else, we love Back to the Future. It's a great movie. Watch it over and over again, and it keeps saying always to be continued. And my dumbass would go to the dude behind the counter every time we went to rent a video, and I would ask him, "Is there any news on Back to the Future Part 2?" Thinking that he would know, and he's like, "No, kid, there isn't."
Yeah, he's all like, "I'm in the process of making it, but just hold on." It'll be amazing.
So there's that, and then there was a another one that opened in town, which was a full video store. Which then you had the concept of new releases on the shelf. And by then I'm older, and I understand new movies to new video. And then they have opened another one over in Fairhaven. But then somewhere in the middle of all that, Blockbuster appeared. Problem is, Blockbuster was all the way in Eatontown, which was literally a world away from the Red Bank and Fairhaven little connectivity section where I lived. And we didn't go there because what was the point? We had video stores right here. It wasn't until I moved for high school, when I moved to Charlottesville, that suddenly there were no small video stores anymore. It was Blockbuster. And at the time, Charlottesville had 3 Blockbusters all around town. And then eventually they got the Hollywood. And then around that time, you could rent games, all that kind of stuff. And that was a big deal, renting games, so you didn't have to buy it. I mean, get it for $7 for the weekend, maybe 14 if you dicked around and didn't return it on time. You had to pay double when you brought it back, instead of paying like the $50-$60 for the game that you really were only going to play once. So the video store rental, the fact that they don't exist anymore, except for like that, maybe that one Blockbuster that is just somewhere out in the Midwest, wherever hell it is. That really was an era. And it was also the place where what?
Yeah.
Huh? What?
Oh, that Blockbuster is owned independently of the Blockbuster chain. They just kept the name.
Okay.
Yeah, they were allowed to keep the name after Blockbuster closed. They said, "Yeah, you can keep using it, just don't expect any freaking signage from us or anything." Yeah, we're out here.
No, but here's the thing. Also, and one thing I did hate that Blockbuster forced was it's Friday night. Nobody's made any plans on shit to do. Let's go rent a movie, guys. Yeah, 2 hours later, nobody can agree on anything. I hated that. I hated that so much.
You know what my problem was?
What?
Is everything was so fucking expensive. You went to Blockbuster, the candy was always like double what it was in the freaking store.
Never buy candy at Blockbuster.
Yeah.
No.
And so, yeah, you go in there and they'd be like, "Oh, here's a popcorn bucket. Oh, look, the popcorn's in the bottom of the bucket. You just put it in the microwave and pop in it. You have a bucket of popcorn, $6." It's all like, yeah, I can go get a, box with like 4 bags for a bucket at freaking Walmart. Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know when it went where you only had Blockbuster in Hollywood and like you said, all the small mom and pop kind of places closed. It kind of sucked because I just enjoyed those. They always had such crazy movies, and you could get them dead cheap after they were on the rack for 6 months. They'd put them to where you could just get them for like $1. It was great.
Also, a little while ago, they had the porn section.
Yeah, which would really suck because it's like when you're a kid and you're like, one day I will get behind the curtain or the beads or whatever the hell they had covering the doorway, and you're just waiting for that opportunity. And then they took them away like like I would say I was still a couple years away from being old enough. Oh, there goes Sam.
Yeah, shit. I'm gonna put him back in case his camera malfunctions.
Yeah, we don't want to see his naked ass or some shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, like by the time, and then they took that away. But I mean, I guess you just have to look at it this way. 8 years later, now we have porn on the internet, and you don't even have to pay for it. So
He's still spinning. Hang on, I've got 2 of him in the background, and I don't know which is the real one now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till his avatar pops up on one of them. There it is. Okay. All right. Is this the real you? Okay.
Is it the fake Sam?
Well, man, the shitternet's angry already tonight. It's too early for this.
Can't be
Too early
trusted.
for shit.
This one might not have drunk from a hose.
Always with the hose. Always with the hose.
Sorry, guys. My computer's freaking the fuck out right now.
Have you fed it today? I have no idea what that means when I ask that, but
I haven't even been home to feed it today.
Okay.
I don't know how clear I'm coming through it all, but
you sound fine. You sound fine.
Something's going on with the PC. Okay.
Well, now you're okay. You're
good.
Keep going. Keep going. We'll find out. Work it out. So I mean, yeah. And then Hollywood. How did you guys feel about Hollywood when they appeared to challenge Blockbuster?
I like them because they sold their old movies like
never
off.
Went.
You never went to Hollywood Video? Well, where you live, it wasn't even. They didn't even have video yet.
He doesn't need video. His tentacles pick up all kinds of.
I haven't lived in this place my entire life, Devil. It's just there haven't been that many Hollywood Blockbusters in the middle of the country.
Roboting.
Hollywood videos or whatever. Like we had Blockbuster and we had. Awesome.
We're losing you.
Yeah, I heard Blockbuster, then a silence, and then awesome.
All I know is that when the Hollywood appeared out of nowhere in Charlottesville, the one Hollywood, it was like, what is this? We, as teenagers in high school, we were surprised. Like, wait a minute, we've got Blockbuster. Why is this here? We didn't understand. But basically, then my mom said, "Well, here, I got the membership card for it, so you can go there now too." And it's like, well, okay. And essentially, Hollywood was okay. I didn't find any games I wanted to rent at Blockbuster. Let's go to Hollywood and see if they have any games to rent. That's what Hollywood was. The backup is what it was. So,
but they had the GameStop, man. They had GameStop attached to them. You could get some.
No,
back when GameStop was good, or was it? It was GameStop, wasn't it?
I never.
There was a game store that was attached to it.
Well, right. This one says Game Crazy in this picture.
Maybe that's what it was called. Was it Game Crazy?
We're going to talk about GameStop later. We do have an article to go over concerning GameStop. So
all I know is that the failure of them is they didn't see the market. Redbox took their lunch and dick smacked them, and then literally 4 years later, if even, streaming dick smacked Redbox. So it's kind of.
Yep. Because it was an error, man. It was an error. Because I can name so many movies that I just waited to watch until they came out on to rent, because I was either busy with life or I wasn't sure I wanted to go see them at all. And I was like, okay, I'll go see them. Listen, the first time I saw Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl, I rented it. I was living in New York, going to culinary school. I remember it. It was when I went down. I rented Curse of the Black Pearl. I rented Underworld, both on the same night. And wow, that was a good night, man. I got Pirate Adventure and Kate Beckinsale in tight leather. That was great. Oh, that was a great night.
Yeah, it's better to watch those at home. Then you could pause and go stroke it out.
Yep.
Can't do that at the theater.
Well, you can. You're just gonna get thrown out.
Yeah, damn prudes.
Well, you can, but you need the popcorn bucket, and you need somebody dumb enough to reach in there.
Sir,
this isn't popcorn. Well, since you're there.
Sir, have you been asking the ladies in the theater if they want popcorn?
No. Sir, why are you holding the popcorn bucket on your waist?
Like, I'm not that ballsy. I'm ballsy, but I ain't that ballsy.
No, yeah,
Walk
I've
up to a
never.
stranger,
Listen,
be like,
I have
"Listen."
never, I have never pulled the popcorn bucket trick. I have never done for the simple fact. Listen, I'm not going to waste good popcorn by sticking my dick in it. Okay, I'm not gonna. I want to eat the popcorn. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna waste the popcorn. That's just expensive enough. All right. So I'm not gonna pull the popcorn bucket trick.
The fake butter would burn like hell.
Oh, what? What? That man, shots fired by Frank. Jeez, wow. Borders. I never went to a Borders in my life.
I did.
Never went to. I can't think of ever going to a Borders because I don't think there was one anywhere in any place I ever lived. At least not in the areas where we partook of browsing and purchasing. You know. So
It's the same. It's the same thing as a lot of these places. They kind of got priced out by other places, like Borders. Yeah, you could go there and get a book. Only problem is, whatever you're paying for a book at Borders, you could get at Walmart for freaking $7 less.
Or Barnes and Nobles back then when they always had the constant discounts, 20%, 30%, 10% on stuff.
But Toys R Us, same thing. Toys R Us had great selection of toys, probably more than other places. But you could go get the same action figure at Target or Walmart for $5 less.
Well, in a certain period, and that I guess that, and then I've left it for last because Toys R Us is what I would bring back. Not because I'm going to go shop there myself, would be for the simple fact that
your mom can intimidate the workers there.
Well, that one time, yes, but for the simple fact that you have to, if you're a kid today, you don't know what it's like to go shopping for toys and have the selection of what it was. Because this is, oh god damn it! Oh, I'm going here anyway. This is what it was like, man. In an aisle, in Toys R Us, just all that GI Joe stuff, or all the Star Wars stuff, or Transformers, and then the aisles where because they each had their own side of the aisle. They dominated. They had enough inventory on toys for their whole section. And then there were like the mixed ones, like the big turtles and other stuff. They get sections on the wall, but kids, a kid who, hang on a second. Sam's talking to the private chat. Hold on. Okay, so all right, Sam, keep working on it. Keep working on it. If you can't work on it, then we will move on. So keep working on it because we want you here. I need you to remind me of how weak I am without the hose. But they don't know what it was like. Like a 5-year-old, a 10-year-old today, an age to that, they don't know the glory of walking down the aisles in Toys R Us. To be in awe and know you're looking at all this shit and you're not going to be able to get 90% of it ever. I mean, I had a generous mom, but I only had so much. I didn't have everything. I got stuff, but it wasn't year round. It was usually, at the holidays. It's a big haul at the holiday, but you would go in there and listen. And as I got older, I went in there, like you said, we go in there for video games because that was another wall. You remember how it looked with the tickets in the little envelopes, and they would have the laminated box above it, and you'd be looking at stuff, and it's just a wall of choices of gaming, whether it was Nintendo or Sega at the time. They don't know what that's like anymore. I mean, now you walk to Walmart, it's in the little case. You just look at it; it's all disorganized. You know what you're looking at, and now the toy sections in Walmart, they're pathetic. Devil, have you seen them lately?
No.
I walk by it every week when I walk towards the pharmacy in my Walmart. At least the Walmart I go to. I'd rather go to the other Walmart in town, but that one's like another 7 miles away, and that's just wasted gas. It's a nicer Walmart, but I'm not going to waste the gas.
Well,
but I mean, you go ahead.
Now I think that Walmart especially, they've been shrinking their like sections that people tend to buy this stuff on Amazon over them. Like the electronics section. The electronics section used to be one of the biggest sections in Walmarts and Targets. Now it's shrunk down to like 6 aisles instead of like 12. Because one, they got rid of the music, the CDs. Then they got rid of some of the DVDs. Now they've really just shrunk them down to practically nothing because everyone's shopping for that shit on Amazon or streaming the movies or getting the music on their phones. Same thing with the toys. I think a lot of kids don't play with toys that much. Like
that's an important thing. Yeah,
they've gone onto tablets.
Yeah, toys are not toys anymore. Kids don't play with toys, and that is a massive change in the culture, and it's sad because once upon a time, the toys was part of what stimulated the imagination. Because there was only a certain amount of time, at least the way I played with my toys, where I played the actual IP. I mean, I only played G.I. Joe for so long before they were characters in my own made-up world, combined with Star Wars and Transformers and He-Man and whatever other junk I had in the closet that I would just spill everything out on the floor, and I'd make a game up based on everything.
Frank, you're right. Now we have $50 Spider-Man things. That's because toys are more pointed towards us, grown men who collect, not kids anymore.
Yeah.
Kids, like I said, a kid will take a tablet over an entire toy chest of action figures and, they just, they have their thing and it just, so yeah, it's a dying thing.
Yeah. And that is a damn shame because I think for the most part, kids are less creative than they used to be.
Yep.
The mind has not been stimulated to just play. Now it's swipe, push. And I'm not saying playing video games is bad because I did that at the same time. Starting in 1985 when I got my Nintendo, I would play video games, but I still played with my toys for another 5 or 6 years after that. I mean, it wasn't until around 12 where suddenly it was like, okay, the toy thing, I'm not doing that anymore. I've gone through my first growth spurt. I'm not interested in playing the massive game anymore. I wanted to keep playing the video games. I'm doing stuff. I'm getting to the age where I'm going out and doing shit with my friends now. That where we're not chained to our parents anymore. We're allowed to go do shit. So the age of how you do stuff changes. But for that, basically from 5 to 10 years old, I was still playing toys alongside video games and making shit up, stimulating my imagination, creating worlds to play in. And when you say right now, and you're absolutely right, when the toys don't exist for kids, when they want to play with a tablet or they want to just play with or go right to the video games, skipping over the toys as part of the whole thing, it's a lost part of the culture. And it's a damn freaking shame.
Yeah, I mean, they'll talk about how kids don't go out with their friends and get on their bikes and ride through, the backwoods behind their house anymore and stuff like that. There's like almost a nostalgia loss for that, but no one takes into consideration what we've lost from kids just playing in their backyard with their toys. I remember there was this dead stump that was practically hollowed out, and I could make that into a ton of different stuff with my imagination and playing back there with my action figures. I mean, I probably was always 1 inch away from being bit by a Black Widow and dying or some shit, but that's how you get stronger.
I mean, you're not, well, I mean, the shit you do, you go out in the backyard, you take the toys, you do stuff. There was this stupid little disgusting pond out back in the house, and it didn't have real fish in there. It had like shrimp fish, but we would still go out there with nets and catch them and put them in buckets and watch them swim around,
Yeah.
We do shit like that. Or we would run around in the backyard doing stupid shit. When it snowed, we'd make snowmen out in the backyard. You would go have fun outside and bring your toys with you. And listen, the one time I brought my action figures to the beach, that ended fast because I
They
buried.
swallow them.
Well, I buried a whole platoon of stormtroopers, and they were never found again.
Yeah, beach will swallow your toys fucking quick, man.
Yep.
They will.
Because my mom wasn't
eaten.
watching. My mom and dad were not watching where I was burying that stuff, and I'm like a 4 or 5 year old and going, yeah. And I buried my stormtroopers, and and in the end, according to my mom, because this is before the memories are fully locked in. When I got into Star Wars, we went to FAO Schwartz, and my dad bought me. He said, I don't want him to play with just one stormtrooper. I want him to have a whole entire platoon. He put me like 10 or 15 stormtroopers so I could make it feel like I was in the movie playing with it. And when all was said and done, I had 4 left.
Did he get you one that actually could shoot straight?
Mine shot straight. I never had a thing like that. I never had a problem with stormtroopers. Well, actually, they couldn't shoot because they all lost their guns. I couldn't save. When I started getting GI Joes, I was better. But every single one of my Star Wars action figures when I was a kid, nobody had a weapon left, unless it was the Luke and Obi-Wan and Vader, where they had the built-in lightsaber to the hand, which I hated, even though it's retro and people loved it. I lost every single blaster that existed. Gone. Who knows where they went?
I don't know if I should tell this, because it might be one of those things where you tell and then you regret telling.
Well,
even though it's nothing too bad.
It's not a cloud situation, is it?
No, it's nothing bad to do with me. It's more about just where I lived. And okay, when I was a kid, I think it was our third house. We the one we lived in the longest. I'm pretty sure that the people who lived in it before us were swingers. Because they had a
I already know where this is going.
they had a jacuzzi, but they also had what we called the rock pond. And it was essentially this fucking like waterfall pond thing that was like a jacuzzi. You got in, it was meant to be swimming. And it was this fake rock surrounding and stuff. Like it had a waterfall. It was kind of like a little mini fucking grotto from the Playboy Mansion.
You find something you shouldn't have found.
No, it's just when you're a kid, it was just the coolest thing having this little rock pond. And now that I'm an adult, I'm all like, how many old people were fucking in that, dude? Like it was just, you could like, as when you're adult and you get the concept of why somebody would pay that much money to make a rock pond. I'm all like, it's because there's probably like 7 old people banging butt in there. It was, and we'd play with our toys in there and shit. That's why I brought it up to me, because I was seeing there, like I'd be seeing there doing water missions with my GI Joes and shit.
Yeah.
And there was probably some old people just. Because I bet it was expensive to make that, all those fake rocks and shit.
I don't have a story like that. I have a lot of stories, but I don't have a story like that where I wondered if people were effing where I was playing.
Yeah, when we moved in there, like I said, I bet it was like there were key parties happen there all the time or some shit before we moved in.
I don't understand swinging. I don't understand that. You know what? We're not going down that rabbit hole. We would, that's something we need Dermy around for us, so we can get a really deranged take.
Dermy would be so like all the wives line up to get the keys out of the bowl, and Dermy's pushing them out of the way. I'm first.
No, Dermy would get there. It's like, why is my key still here? All right. So we're still waiting to see if Samuel can get back. So let's dive into another article. We mentioned GameStop, and this is an interesting thing. So let's talk about eras. We mentioned eras when we talk about Blockbuster and all that kind of stuff. The era of GameStop, and even I will say before GameStop, video game stores I mean, Devil, what is the first? And when I say video game store, I mean like chain, not like not a mom and pop one, which is my first one, like many others, but like a chain. When I say video game store, prior to GameStop, like what's the first one that comes to your mind?
Prior to GameStop,
Yeah,
I don't like. I think just like the places renting games, like
so renting games, like not the actual store selling it. Okay,
yeah, no.
See, my first one is Babbage's. That's my first one. I remember when Babbage's was the place where you did it. That's when that's when we were kind of stopping going to Toys R Us and we started going to the game stores. You went to Babbage's, you went to Software, etc. I didn't have a Funko Land near me, but I knew people that swore by Funko Land at the time. So you had all those ones. And that's where you started going. And then it was about, oh geez, what was it? It had to be around 98, maybe 98, 99, where they literally all merged. There was a massive merger of Babbage's, Software, etc., and one more. I forget what it was. And they became GameStop. They became one. And then it's the era of GameStop. That's all there was to buy video games, physical media. If you're buying physical media video games, you went to GameStop or you didn't go anywhere. And then Best Buy came in and you get at Best Buy. But you know what I mean? If Best Buy had their section, but GameStop was just it. And this is pre-GameStop with all the Funko Pops and all the bullshit toys in there. We're talking about you go in there, it's video games and it's video game magazines. That's what was in there. And that was a thing. So GameStop, and let's be honest, GameStop, as much as I love and prefer physical media when I'm buying stuff, is it fair to say that it's a reason for itself that it destroyed its industry? Is that fair to say that it has nobody to blame but itself?
Yeah.
For making it the weakest place to go for physical media. Let's take Walmart and Amazon, and we'll throw Target in there and Best Buy equation, because Best Buy doesn't count, because for the same reason we say with GameStop, Best Buy, you never get a deal on a game at Best Buy. You don't. They kept those prices locked. Never gave you a deal. But like Walmart, back in the day, now Walmart's like GameStop. They don't give you deals on games anymore. But back then, Walmart, Target, you get deals. Amazon is the only place to get a deal. Amazon's the only place where you're going to see a price reduction on new games now. At least somebody proved me wrong. So GameStop is its own fault because it didn't evolve with the times. But at the same time, as we're going to bring up this article now, it in the recent years that we've been doing what we're doing, it bought into the bullshit, because current GameStop CEO goes off on DEI in X post as retail chain looks to sell off Canadian and French locations. And Dev, I don't know, when was the last time you were in a GameStop? Do you know?
God,
I was actually recently.
It was a long time ago, because I mostly went in there to trade games out. Trade 5-6 games for one game type thing.
Put a pin in that. We're going to come back to that. That's a key part of this conversation. So I was actually, even recently, it was actually to get this game right here. I had to go get it because of the botched Amazon purchase, where I told you guys where the hub box wouldn't open, and it was in there, and they just couldn't open it and give it to me. So they had to null and void it, and I had to search like 4 GameStops to find this game at relatively the same price I was getting it on Amazon. And then I had to drive out. I mean, I wasted as much gas. I had driven out farther than I've ever driven out around here to a county I've never been to go freaking find this place. And I even got lost twice because I didn't read the map right when I was doing it. But I know, hang on, sneeze. Okay. Sorry. I know some people go into GameStops and the GameStop people still do the push. Would you like this? Would you like that? They've got all the different DEI pins on their thing. My experience was actually a normal one. I went in there. The guy asked me what I was there for. He gave it to me and I left. No conversation whatsoever. And I liked it. That's pretty old school. We're not here to chat it up. Give me my product leave. But this is interesting. So let's read this a little bit, and then we'll go, and then we'll explore why I think they are where they are with this shit. GameStop CEO Ryan Cohen has stirred controversy after taking to X this week, where he appeared to place the blame for GameStop struggles and its decision to exit markets in Canada and France squarely on wokeness and DEI policies. The game retailer, which has faced mounting challenges over the last decade, announced plans to sell its operations in both countries. In an official release, GameStop said it was evaluating its international assets and intends to offload its Canadian and French branches. The company currently operates 200 stores in Canada and nearly 650 across Europe. Let's see what he said exactly. Response says, email ma@gamestop.com if you're interested in buying GameStop Canada or Micromania France. High taxes, liberalism, socialism, progressivism, wokeness, and DEI included at no additional cost to you if you buy today. Devil. I find that's a fascinating statement to make. Right there, I think. It shows you where we are in all of this, I think, also.
Yeah. I mean, this is what we were talking about. The rubber band effect, the kickback is these CEOs are finally having to admit that, yeah, we went down this road because we thought there was, gold at the end, and all it's cost us is our businesses, a shit ton of profit. And they're coming to the realization that DEI actually hurt them. DEI was a pitfall for them.
Oh, yeah.
They fell right into.
Oh, yeah.
And we knew it years ago when it first started. We're all like, this isn't going to go any good place. This isn't going to take you down a good place because you're going to alienate every single person who's ever gave you money and supported you. And it just, because they're retards making millions of dollars a year, they obviously didn't, took them a while to catch on. But yeah, doesn't surprise me at all.
I mean, and there's additional things that they are in this position in the first place, which is what I mentioned. GameStop has been its own worst enemy long before DEI became a thing. Let's go back 15, 20 years. You just mentioned a second ago. You go in there to get a game, and you're bringing in shit to essentially recycle into the game. It's the same as when you buy a car off the lot. As soon as that game is put in your hands and you leave the store with it, its value immediately diminishes if you want to trade it in for something. And this is one of the things I honestly hated the most about dealing with GameStop. I go in there, we'll go with the period of time where it's he's back. Hang on. How you doing?
I hope it's fixed. If not, I'm gonna have to switch to the phone. So
okay. Well, we hear you right now. Okay.
Yeah,
so are you up to speed on what we're doing? Did you hear what we're doing? Or do I need to recap?
No, I had to shut everything down.
Okay, all right. Essentially, the GameStop CEO said this statement right here. If you're interested in buying GameStop Canada in France or Canada, high taxes, liberalism, social and progressivism, and wokeness and DEI included at no additional cost if you buy today. And Devil mentioned that it's the exact thing we've been talking about. It's all coming back in their face, rubber banding back because they pushed it so hard and they've lost their core audience. And I'm going it a step further, and you can probably chime in this because you're an old man too, where GameStop was screwing itself over long before DEI was a thing. Because as I was saying, you go in there, it's like a car. You buy the game. As soon as the game's in your hands, its value's diminished immediately. And you go in there. Yeah. And you go in there, you just bought we'll say during the $60 game era. We'll say that. No, $50 game era. $50 game era. And then suddenly you want to trade it in, and they're only going to give you maybe $5, a little over that if you're lucky. And then as soon as they take that game, they're going to sell it for $30 used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it wasn't just GameStop. It was all the places that you could trade in games at. Like Hastings was notorious for that exact same shit. you know, like I went into I really wanted to buy a copy of like Fallout New Vegas at one point, but in order to do that, I had to, you know, sell some games. So I took a stack of like 10 games I didn't play anymore in, and I still didn't have enough to even cover like a third of the cost of the new disc or whatever. And it was,
Yep.
And that was at a Hastings in Wyoming before they went under. You know, and they had a really stupid policy though. They wouldn't even move into towns that had less than 35,000 people.
Jeez. But that was the problem. And this is the point in time, as I was talking about before we opened the article. This is after the merger, because remember, before GameStop, there was Hastings, there was Software, etc. There was Babbage's, there was Funko Land, until literally Babbage's, until literally all those corporations literally merged into GameStop. I remember when it happened, when they were all suddenly gone, and there was just GameStop. And before GameStop, you could get a deal sometimes. But once it was GameStop, there were no deals anymore. Unless it's Black Friday, there were no deals to be had. And then they introduced the trading system. And we just talked about the trading system on the surface. You think it's the greatest thing in the world when it first appears. It's like, oh, man. When I was in high school, I traded in 2 or 3 things and got my copy of Final Fantasy Tactics at no, in the moment, hard currency cost to myself. That was like the first game I ever got without actually giving money exchanging hands. And I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. Like you're 14, 15, you think, oh man, that's awesome. This is great. And at the time, you don't realize, man, they're screwing you over because, like I just said, all those games they just took from you, they're going to now sell them for $30 a pop.
Yep. $160 worth of video games and you get a freaking $23 game.
Basically.
Yeah. It's you know, one of the ones I got the most money for on a trade-in was I was at KB Stores or KB Toys, and we bought this stupid, it was back when I don't know, I think it was Super Nintendo, Frankenstein game. It was this weird little Frankenstein game. It was a cheap one. My mom got it because of the cartoony look to it and stuff, and it was cheap. Then when I went to trade it in like a year later, I got the most money for that one because it was rare. No one really bought it, so it just never sold. So now that it's out of stock and anyone who wants to play it, they have to buy it, you know, used. It was worth the most. I ended up getting a ton of money for that stupid, crappy game that was no fun.
But that's the thing,
right? And a lot of the hobby stores went the same route. So I got talked into trying out Warhammer, the original, the fantasy Warhammer, not 40K years ago. And you know, like that's a very expensive hobby. It's not only expensive in like time and effort and materials, but also cash. I mean, it's extremely expensive. So in order for me to build up like a 1,200 point army, right, I ended up shelling out something like, I think all told, you know, materials, paints, primer, the actual models themselves,
500.
Pretty close to, probably a little over that.
Yeah.
And this was back in like 2007, you know, so it was a little cheaper than it is now. And so I did all of that, and eventually I decided I didn't like the game itself, right? The modeling I didn't really have an issue with, but the game itself I just thought was fucking retarded.
By then, the edition, I mean, I stopped playing in 01, 02. That's when I last played. So, and even then they were starting to monkey with the rules. So you're playing like at least 2 or 3 rule set changes after I quit playing.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was probably god awful at that point.
Yeah. So, but that aside, like, I mean, I know a lot of people who like the game and all that stuff. And there was a local card / models shop. They sold board games and comic books and shit like that. And so I needed money, and I didn't really have any use for this stuff anymore. But I had put a lot of time and effort into it. It looked great. I'm actually a pretty decent painter, and I got $200 for the entire thing.
Man,
like, I'm talking like the 600 was just what it cost me to acquire all this stuff. It didn't account for the hours put into putting all this together. It didn't account for the paint job, which was fucking stellar, if I do say so myself. It was worth easily $1,300.
I can understand that. I mean, did you consider doing eBay at the time? Because that's how
I didn't have access to the internet at the time.
So. Oh, okay, yeah. Because I was back. There was a period of time where I was doing eBay for bolstering my army for cheap, where it's like, oh, you get this lot for a bunch of crap. I mean, I never actually pulled the trigger on some of these things, but I almost did a few times. But because I was also mooching off my friend who had a ton of unused or crap he wasn't using, so I was able to borrow shit to bolster my points.
Yeah, and that same model was applied by GameStop to everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they would. I'm not going to disparage everything GameStop ever did, just because I did get some pretty great deals there on occasion, but they were, as you said, very rare, right?
Yeah.
Like I had a factory new copy of Blood Omen Legacy of Kain for the PS1 that I found there in their bargain bin for $5, right? Which is incredible for a couple of reasons, not the least of which was, 12 years after the game came out, how in the hell is this factory new? First of all, because they didn't make that many of them. The game is rare. It's not the rarest game that ever was on the PS1, but it's in like the top 5, I think. So it's actually kind of difficult to come by, and they sold it to me for $5. I still have that copy because it was an incredible fucking find at GameStop in Colorado.
Well, I mean, like you, I'm not going to disparage GameStop in its originality, because back then it was, if you wanted to get a game on day one, the reservation system was great, because you couldn't reserve a game at Toys R Us. You couldn't reserve a game anywhere else. You could reserve a game there, put down the $5, and it'll be there when you walk in the door on release day. You're guaranteed. And that was great. And so if you're paying upfront and buying the game, knowing you're not going to get it, you're buying it day one, then that was a great thing. But when you get into the era of buying a game off Amazon now, which is what I believe the majority of us do to get when we get new releases, either on release day or waiting for price drops, is what we normally do. At least what I try to normally do now. I don't try to, very rarely will I buy something day one. And I'm going to mention something in a second, Samuel, bring a smile to your face. I'll get that like 15, 20% off eventually if I'm patient enough on my wish list of games on Amazon. And Amazon's been doing that they've been doing that for over 10 years since I started buying games on Amazon in 2016. That's when I started doing it. And I've always gotten the best deal. And in all that time, when GameStop had a chance to get ahead of things, they never learned that lesson. Maybe it's time to start discounting shit and not just ripping people off with the used game trading system, and when things are launching, leaving it locked in forever. Gotta sneeze. Excuse me. So they didn't learn that lesson. And if they had learned that lesson, I don't think they'd be in this situation where in the intervening years, they sold out to the DEI shit because people stopped buying their games. So they stopped buying games there. So they started flooding the store with all the other shit. And a lot of it is DEI bullshit. A lot of the product is. So now they're going to talk about the decline here. So I don't have any pity for GameStop situation, none whatsoever, because it's outlived its usefulness.
Well, and sadly, despite how much people like you and I might decry this, the era of the physical copy is coming to an end.
No,
it is.
No.
And let's be honest about this. GameStop was basically the last bastion of physical copies that you could walk into a store and buy it. Obviously, you can still go to places like Walmart and all that shit, but their selection shit. We all know that. And they don't often have like specialty items you might be looking for or whatever.
I also refuse to do business. The last time they said, "Oh, we don't have it," but it was release day, and they did, and it's like, "Fuck you!" I refuse to do business with them. Yeah.
Right. And like I said, there are other obviously there are other box store options, but those are not like this is a specialty shop, right? This is like Blockbuster. When Blockbuster went out of business, I mean, it more or less killed the movie rental industry.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It's all digital now.
GameStop was going to die no matter what, because I think all retail places that are specific to one thing are going to die. It's just internet's doing it. It's killing everything. So they were going to, but they could have adjusted. They could have found ways to survive longer if it wasn't for the woke. But
I agree 100%.
But they were going to die either way, because like I said, it's the same thing with CD stores. They died before CDs went out of style because it was just easier to get it on Amazon. Same thing with you're going to have the video game stores did it, bookstores did it, all those things, because if you just focus on one product, it's so much easier to get it on the internet. The only places that are going to survive physically are like places like Walmart, where they have so many things inside of there that you can go and get 12 different things, and that's how they make their money. But these kind of places, they were always going to die. It's
sure.
inevitable.
And you had, like you mentioned, bookstores. You had places like Barnes and Noble moving in and killing local mom and pops, like just straight up slaughtering them across the country. And then Amazon came and did the same to them.
Yeah.
It's Darwinism, honestly. It's simple, the evolution of the market. And the brick and mortar stores did not evolve enough. I mean, I think they're still going to live. I mean, Barnes and Nobles has been slaughtered, but I think they will continue to be around.
Sure.
They're just but I mean,
they have a habit of adjusting to the market a little bit faster than some other places too. It's why they've survived. Like when everything
online Barnes and Nobles is a thing.
When everything shifted to the woke, their stores like boom immediately shifted over. You had whole sections on like anti-patriarchy shit, taking out tons and tons of shelf space. The second that things started swinging back the other way, I haven't been to a Barnes and Noble in a long time. I know they're still out there, but I guarantee they're making that pivot again. It's like when the American comic book industry failed, they started dedicating more and more shelves to Japanese comics.
Oh, the manga and manga shelves are massive.
Right. But they weren't always. That happened as a result of the policies that the big companies and Diamond Distribution were putting in place, which was driving customers off. So, Barnes & Noble, like a smart retailer, saw the decline in sales, and they saw the rise in the sales of the manga, and they're like, all right, well, let's put more of this on the shelf because that clearly sells and this doesn't.
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. You're absolutely right. And even at the same time, Barnes & Nobles has adapted to online movie and book purchasing, because you can go to Barnes & Noble online and you'll find movies there that you can't find on Amazon.
Yeah.
In their for their purchasing. And sometimes they have deal. They understand put things on sale. Because listen, my mom loves classic cinema. And sometimes if I can't find something, if I want to get it for her on Amazon, I'll go to Barnes & Nobles and I'll find it there for a relatively decent price. They're not trying to skin me. So I will get it there. So
they carry some obscure shit too, which is hilarious given that their whole thing is being, let's mass market all this, do all the popular stuff, but they do carry some obscure. They still have Fangoria magazine on the shelves in a Barnes & Noble. Yeah,
really.
Apparently that magazine's still a thing.
I used to the Barnes & Nobles in Charlottesville. I used to religiously go in there, and I'd have my routine. I'd start by go into you walk in, the cafe was right there, right next to the magazine racks. I'd go through the magazine racks, look at the magazines I used to like back in the day when they still had all the different video game magazines. They'd have the Playboy that would wink at me and be like, yep, I don't need you. It's the internet now. And then I'd go straight to the back where the sci-fi fantasy was. And then, as you say, the growing manga section became massive there. And I would check everything out. And you would do this stuff, and it was still a viable thing. And this is of course before Amazon really took over. We're talking late 90s, early 2000s is what we're talking right now, before Amazon got its foothold and locked it in completely. But but they had, you're right, the sections would adapt and change. I remember the Harry Potter sections as they would rise and fall depending on a movie. I remember the board game sections, and Frank just mentioned it in the chat there. Board game sections growing and growing and all that kind of stuff. Now this is pre-woke era, so there were no woke sections when I was still walking into a Barnes and Noble, but it was a thing. I remember when I was in culinary school, there was a massive Barnes and Noble on the corner near my school. And sometimes between, if I had an afternoon thing and then I had to come back for an evening thing, I'd go over there. Man, it was busy. This is 2003, 2004. Man, it was busy. It was packed. It was like a 2-story Barnes and Noble. And it had all kinds of great stuff going on in there. And so, but that is the example of the evolution. You're absolutely right. And you could see it moving. And like I said, watching the shrinking Western comic book section in comparison to the manga section.
Yeah, I used to go there to get trade paperbacks, right? Because I liked to read a whole story in one go. I didn't like waiting, the 6 months for the story to finish kind of thing. So I just wait until it was done. Then I go buy a trade paperback so I could read the whole thing. And I got some really great stuff there. It was fantastic. But that's the thing is Barnes and Noble, by comparison to GameStop, is much more adaptable to market demands than GameStop ever was.
And they even had music. They had a music section too.
Yep. They started selling CDs and I mean, I think they even started that when cassette tapes were still available on the market, but weren't that popular.
But weren't they all Enya and shit like that? like coffee shop music?
There was the crunchy granola section, yes, but
and they were even adaptable. Amazon came up with the Kindle. They came out with the Nook. So
yeah, and it did okay competing against the Kindle for a little while. I mean, it didn't not forever, but for a while it did.
Yeah. Yep. But here we are now. Back to this. GameStop didn't adapt to anything, and that is why I say this is a fascinating statement to make, but it's too little, too late. And it's not the reason you're done. You're done because you've never adapted at all. And now you're not, and GameStop's not even really a video game place anymore. It's a knick-knack place.
Funko
toys, Funko Pops, toys, collectibles, random shit, helmets.
I only ever bought a couple of Funko Pops, and mostly it was just for my kids.
I was gonna say, don't. You saw what we did to Dre when he admitted he buys Funko Pops. So,
I own one. One is mine, and it's Ash from the Evil Dead.
You're gonna have to give back your hose card.
I don't think. All right. To close this out, how much longer do you think GameStop exists? Because it's come to the brink several times in the past couple of years.
Yeah, and there was that shit with the stock market manipulation that really put a dent in. Like they lost a lot of custom over that.
So how much longer do you think it has?
I'm surprised it's held on this long, man. On the outside, I'd probably say maybe 2 years, maybe
2 years, huh?
Maybe. Yeah.
I mean, I want to say it has. I listen, like you. I thought it was done a long time ago. I'm surprised it's still here. And as I mentioned, I had to go out to one at the end of the year because to get, as I said, to get this exact game right here when Amazon fucked me over and wouldn't just open the goddamn hub so I can get it out because they fucked up and got stuck. And I'm glad it was there because it was the only place I could get this game because no one else was carrying it anywhere. But I don't think it should even be surviving at this point. I really thought it'd be gone, and I want to say
it's a vestige of times past, man. It doesn't belong in this timeline anymore.
I want to say 2 years as well, but I think it's going to hold on like a cockroach at least another 3 or 4 years. It's going to hold on somehow.
I think you're going to see franchises probably that far out, but as an overall company, I think probably it'll be done in a couple of years.
I want you to be right, because I just, like you said, it doesn't need to exist anymore. Even though I want physical media to keep going, it's not the mecca for it anymore. And speaking of physical media, I got an email a couple of days ago, Samuel. Guess what's coming to me on March 10th?
Is it the Suikoden 1 and 2 remaster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They shortened the date. I'm getting it on the 10th. I'm excited.
Nice.
I'm gonna stream the hell out of that, at least for a week or two before I go on the road. But
yeah,
it's gonna be good.
You're gonna have to commit to that shit, man. Like you go on the road and all that stuff. When you come back, you're gonna have to get back into it. And the only reason I'm saying that is because they're both 100-hour games easily.
I know. Well, here's the thing. I'm probably gonna we'll probably do 1, and then I'll stop, and I'll do 2 when I come back at the end of the first week of April.
Sure.
Because I'm gonna be gone. I was gonna say for the end of the show, I'm gonna be gone for a full week when I go to Florida at the end of March. So I won't be back until like the end of the first week of April. So if we have a nice easy couple weeks of streaming Suikoden 1, I think it'll be good to just get that one done. I could probably do it in 3 weeks of streaming a couple days a week. Get done. Because there are going to be times where I'm going to do shit off camera. Like when I'm grinding, I'm going to grind off camera. I'm not going to grind on stream. It's not going to happen. That's retarded because it's boring.
Yeah, but you know what you have to do, though? When you get to Suikoden 2, you have to stream your race to get Clive.
That's a thing. Well, here's the thing. Even though, and I'll say this now because I announced it officially yesterday on Roundtable on March 8th, which is also Ballbusters Gaming Night. Which reason I'm combining it with it. I'll be doing a 12-hour stream. It's my stream to help me keep streaming because StreamYard's bill's coming up in April and it's very expensive, more expensive than it ever has been. So and what Jed said to me yesterday, he says, maybe you should once a month do a 12-hour stream no matter what, and just do it. And for Suikoden, listen, for Suikoden. We're likely going to play because that. No, it's March 8th, so it's going to be 2 days before I get it. But for Suikoden 2 in April, I could do a 12-hour stream of Suikoden 2, and for the race to get Clive. Now I'm going to have to review everything because, dude, it's been 20 years since I did that. It's been 20 years since I played it last.
Yeah.
So, gonna have to review it, and I have no shame saying that because I've beaten that game more times than I can count. I could cheat and remember how to and check up how to do shit. But yeah, the 8 hour was it 7 hour or 8 hour?
I think it depends on how quick you are getting through the canon events you have to get through. Which still, you can skip most of the dialogue, but if you do that, you're also gonna be like shorting out most of the story.
Oh, I've done a full dialogue. I've done it without skipping. I can do it.
Like it can be done, but it's usually if you're not streaming it or whatever, if you're just playing and you're already familiar with the story, it's much more efficient to just skip all the dialogue. But
we will be streaming.
Yep.
So I think what we'll have to do is at least a minimum 10-hour stream to get the race to Clive. It's like Suikoden. The stream will be titled "The Race to Clive."
Yeah.
The race to Clive.
I think it also involves running away from a lot of random encounters.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, you can really get bogged down in those too. That's a real time killer.
Yeah. So it's going. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do it. That's why I brought it up. So we're gonna do that. There will be a full day stream dedicated to Suikoden 2, The Race to Clive. Now that's the thing because that means no dawdling, no nothing. I can't take breaks during that. I can get up to take a piss. That's about all I can do. Get up to take a piss and come back. And then we hurry. We go.
Do like the kids in South Park in that one thing.
No, no,
Me.
no.
Hot pockets, Ma.
He's got,
Toilet,
he's
Ma.
got like a bucket
Man,
attached to the
bathroom.
bottom of his chair so he doesn't have to get up and shit.
My bathroom is right over there. It's like 10 feet away. I don't have to run all the way across the apartment.
I'm not gonna eat Clyde, Ma.
Bathroom. So yeah, Grace to Clive, Suikoden 2, probably at least the second week of April, maybe. I'm gonna have to catch up on sleep when I get back because there's gonna be a lot of strange stretch out nights doing stuff. At least like not a lot of sleep's gonna be happening for that week with the schedule I'm gonna be keeping. But yeah, so we're gonna do that. It's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm really excited. That right now, that and the Lunar Remastered Collection, which I still can't buy. I'm gonna check it again. I check it constantly right now. It's been posted for 2 months since they announced it, but there's still no buying options for it on Amazon.
With this Clyde character,
it's supposed to be coming out in April, so I'm worried. I want it.
Clive with a V.
Clive. Sorry. Is he a really good character to have?
Yes,
he's all right. He's a pretty good sniper.
Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the thing, Devil. You have to get all 108 stars of destiny to get the true ending. And you have to get
he's one of them.
He's one of them.
And I think he's one of like only a handful of like actually missable characters. And the other ones are missable due to like canon events taking place. But like as long as you get them before that canon event, you're fine. There's not a time crunch on that. But he actually, you have to get to him before a certain amount of in-game time is elapsed, or you can never get him, and then you can't get the true ending.
Yeah, because I didn't get it my first time out because I fucked around. You know, I did my usual thing. I'm grinding, I'm searching, I'm looking, I'm having fun, not realizing that there's an invisible timer going on right now, and I have to catch this dude. So not catch up to him because he's chasing somebody. So you're trying to catch up to him, and so it's going to be fun. I'm so looking forward to it. It's one of the things I'm looking forward to most playing this year right now. So you're going 1 and 2.
You're gonna have to like, I don't know, do something like when you're streaming this, if you have like a tag for your name or whatever, like you do in StreamYards, however you do it, you're gonna have to change that shit to Stadelheim Rheinbach the 17th or some shit. You know that, right?
Well, we'll be on OBS, so I'm not even gonna be on camera because the camera's over here. I can't put the camera over here, so I'm not on camera when I'm playing on console. Yeah, I mean, I'd have to plug it into this monitor, and I don't want to do that. I've already got both HDMI ports used on this monitor. So
right. For those who are not familiar with the game Suikoden and the series, in the first 2 games, your character, in the first game, your character has the option rather to use the alias Stadelheim Rheinbach III to get past the checkpoint, right? And then it comes back as a repeat gag in 2. I forget exactly where. I think actually it might be Victor who uses it. And then later on in other games, like I think it's mentioned in 4 and in Suikoden 5, somebody calls himself Stadelheim Rhein. I think you actually meet Stadelheim Rheinbach the 2nd or the 3rd.
You do?
He's a real dude, apparently.
I don't remember. But say it's going to be a lot of fun. This and Lunar Remastered Collection are the games I'm looking forward to most playing right now. There are other games out there, like maybe a couple months down the road. I know a lot of us in our network, they're going to jump on Monster Hunter Wilds. And since it is cross-platform, cross-play, I can do it too. But I'm not going to jump on that at launch because my money is going to other places right now. Especially this. I've already paid for this game. So I've already spent my money on a game for next month.
Unfortunately, I do intend to return to game streaming at some point in the future, but unfortunately, I've taken several financial hits lately, and so getting decent internet in the first place is going to be an issue, let alone getting like a PS5 to play Wilds, that kind of thing. That is the plan down the road, So eventually I will be able to play with you guys, but I have no idea how long that's going to take. So,
and that's the thing, because you're like the super veteran on that game. So I would love to play with you.
I've only been playing that series for 20 fucking some odd years.
I know.
You've got to start doing your second job career again. You're stripping to get the money, man. Because
but
I want to play
the
WoW.
ladies all run away when the speedo comes off.
Listen, only Eldritch. Only Eldritch. There you go.
You chase off all the white women, but the Japanese women, they stick by. They're interested.
Yeah, but it's not a sexy thing. They think I'm dinner.
Either way, but I mean, because Devil, you were with the guys. You guys jumped into the beta a couple weeks ago, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I had fun.
I mean, only reason I didn't do it because it was the exact same thing I did a month ago, just maybe a little cleaner. So, but you guys ran around. I saw the screen pick you guys had. You all made giant titted women for your characters.
They did. Shock was Nicolol. They all went as freaking E-Thoughts. And then who was it? One of the other guys played as that freaking Arab porn star, I think, is who it is.
Mia Khalifa.
Yeah, Mia Khalifa. And then so the one they didn't tell me, but I still ended up as an E-Thought because I made myself. So yeah, and we were running around.
It might be the first time that Cloud ever caught a shiny for himself.
Yeah, and Cloud, what did he make? He made one. If they would have told me, I'd have made a Amaranth or something. But no, yeah. we were kicking ass till we got to this lightning fucking dragon.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah, I ran into that one when I was playing on my beta. Yeah, he was nasty. He was a nasty.
Yeah.
One. Well, the problem with the beta. Go ahead.
Fun fact for those who are not veterans of the series, there's an ongoing kind of debate, is the politest way I could put this, between FromSoft fans and Monster Hunter fans as to which is the more difficult and skill-based game series. I play both. They both are, but they're both very different from each other. But the thing about Monster Hunter is it starts you off easy, but that learning curve that it hits you with is fucking steep.
You gotta, because thing about a From Software boss is no matter where you hit it, you're gonna do damage most of the time. Unless it's got a shield, you got to get around it. When you're fighting a monster, you have to be surgical fighting these motherfuckers.
Well, not just that. There's all kinds of other shit that goes into it. Like you have to track them. You have to understand their habits, where they're going to be at certain times. Like you can eventually learn in a given mission where it's going to be, what it's going to be doing. You want to go interrupt it when it eats because it's regenerating health when it does that. You want to do the same when it sleeps because that's
I like catching when they're sleeping. I like catching when they're sleeping.
Usually parts of the head are the weakest. Most of them you can cut their tails off on. You can damage wings, extremities like claws, that kind of thing. But learning each monster's stuff, and you can only do this by hunting these monsters, is the key to defeating each of them, right? And some of them have elemental bonuses that will kick the shit out of you if you don't have the right gear set. But you have to go fight, like the way they used to do it. Like you had to fight this monster called Kushala Deora, which is this like scary metallic covered wind dragon, right? Throws tornadoes at people. He's really fucking. He's an asshole. I hate fighting that guy. But anyway, you have to make a complete armor set out of him to go fight Taelstra, right? Who is a fire dragon who looks like a lion with a big crown of horns coming out of his head, right? And wings and shit. Because you need a full set of his gear to go fight Chameleos, who is a chameleon-looking dragon that poisons you, is invisible, and will steal items out of your inventory permanently.
That prick.
Right? In order to defeat him, though, you need a complete set of... in order to defeat Kushala Deora, you need a complete set of Chameleos gear. So it's like this whole vicious cycle.
And it's not just beating them once. You gotta farm this shit. You gotta get, because you're gonna get like 1 or 2 bones at a drop, or 1 or 2 pieces of hide, and if you're in a group, everybody needs to get the loot, and you're all farming it, you're all harvesting at the same time, but you need to get everybody geared up, and that's what makes it fun. Because you're fighting in a group, you cover all the bases. You got people on range, you can have people on certain types of melee. it's a thing, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and
you get buffers and support, you get healing, you get there's all kinds of things you can specialize in.
Yeah. So I very much want to play with you because you know this game the best out of everybody. I mean, I only played one game. I only played World for a while. That's all I played.
Yeah.
But I had a great time playing it. And I played with a friend for
1,300 hours on World.
Yeah. So I mean, these games are fun, and it's one more thing we can all play together. But I mean, you still have to get the whole thing. I'm simply not getting it because one, I want to let it come out. I want to let them work whatever kinks are going to be a problem with it first, and secondly. It comes out in I think 3 weeks. I think it comes out. I think full version comes out
it's pretty soon. Yeah.
I don't have the time to commit to that kind of co-op game at the moment. I got a lot of other shit going on. At least for the next 2 months. So I'm not ready to commit to it.
Sure. The one thing I will say is that it is kind of a pick up and play. So like if you get into the same lobby as your buddies or whatever, you can jump in and all do like the missions. Average time length is about 50 minutes, right? Most of the time, if you're good enough, you have the right gear, you have the right skills, and you have a team that's at least halfway competent, you're going to get it done in a whole lot less time than that. But even if you go all the 50 minutes, you don't have to like continue to do missions. You can just do the one, and it's like, hey, I played with my friends for an hour and I'm good.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of farming going on. You're running around picking up shit here and there, crafting,
literally picking up shit. By the way,
yes.
There's
dung slinging. You shoot dung balls.
So that's that. They kind of
we'll put Dermy in charge of looking for magical dragon shit.
The wrist rocket thing, that it was kind of an addition in World. It didn't exist before that. Before that, you just threw like hunks of poop with your hand, like a baseball.
Yeah, and they've even refined it a bit more in Wilds now. When I played, it was felt a little janky when I baited it.
I heard they brought paintballs back, which is cool. Because that used to be a thing back in the old days. Like you would find a monster, but in order to track it, right, you didn't just see it on your map all the time. You only saw it while it was in the same area as you. So you had to run in, hit it with a paintball, which then would make it show up on the map for as long as the paintball was active, which was about 10 minutes.
The last thing I had from World was following like basically the pixie dust. That's what I was doing back.
That was a newer mechanic. But yeah, they brought some of that stuff back. They used to have this animation every time. So you'd find these piles of dung that were up to your waist, right? Because these are huge, like dragon-like dinosaur beasts, and you would get down on your hands and knees and just dig into it, and then you'd come out with like dung or golden dung or whatever the fuck to make whatever products out of them that you could.
Games seeming less appealing now.
That animation used to be long enough that I actually composed a little song for beginning to end that worked every time. And when they shortened the animation to just you walk by it and all of a sudden you just have the item, you don't like get down and dig in it, kind of thing. I was so pissed because I had been singing that song for fucking 10 years.
Sam sitting
digging in poop. I like digging in poop. And that's the length of the animation right there. It's the exact length of the animation. It's also the exact length of the animation from beginning to cook raw meat to getting a well done steak, by the way.
Did you do this in front of your children? Because
no, I didn't have
memory. You don't want to. Oh yeah, my dad used to be seen there singing, "I digging in poop, I'm digging in poop."
I would though. I totally would if it was still a thing.
Anyway, so yeah, that's something I think in the future we're all going to coalesce around because, the beta, like I said, well, we're only setting a beta because there was no upgrades. The blacksmith wasn't there yet, so you're doing like the shittiest of shit damage on those monsters out there, which is why you guys got your ass kicked by that lightning wyvern because that motherfucker, your weapons are shit. You're not doing any damage. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, you know what? I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna do this. I'll wait till I'll come back with the blacksmith.
Each hit was taken off 4 to 5.
Yeah, you had no armor and you had the most basic pitch weapons. So,
and depending on where you hit the monster, depending on like which part of its body is, it may do more damage or less damage. Like if you hit a weak spot, it's going to crit. If you hit at a hard spot, though, it's just going to bounce your weapon off of it.
And in this one, they've got a mechanic in this one. I don't remember it being in World where it actually shows the damage on the weak spot more and more. You've been hitting it, and eventually it splits open. And if you do the right time, you can get in there, and you start just jamming it in there over and over again on the wound.
Yeah.
So
yeah, which is
jamming in there.
Yes,
which is kind of awful because I was dual wielding and I was going for the ass the whole time. I was just like, get behind it and chop its ass up. That was my.
That's the other thing. You gotta learn your weapon specialties, man. Dual wielding is great for legs and it's great for low hanging fruit, as it were. It's not really great for multiplayer because unless you have specific jewels, you tend to hit your teammates, which will throw them off of their combos. There are a couple of weapons that do that. There's some friendly fire stuff you actually have to like mod your gear around. But yeah, it's really great for fucking up their leg. That's like the rule
what
of
I was
Hunter.
behind.
Pick a leg and fuck it up.
I'm a dual sword player, so yeah. I go after legs. And
I
tails.
do hammer, so I hit the head really fucking hard. I'm great at knocking things out. I'm great at breaking horns off and stuff. But hammer is a blunt instrument, so I can't take a tail off.
See, I go for legs and tails. I chop that shit up.
See, this is why you need to get your PS5 because I need this device, man.
Yeah, that's true.
You get this device from Dermy and Shock, that's for sure.
No, we're going to get gay jokes about dragons. That's all we're gonna get is them talking about what part of the dragon they're gonna touch next. It's gonna
that's but you gotta it's one of those things, and you also have to like know like the mechanics of the specific game you're playing, which is a lot easier to do once you get into it. Like Lances, for example, used to be able to stun lock a Rathalos, right? Rathalos is the flagship monster, the red two-legged fire-breathing lizard thing. And by stun lock, I mean so the Lance has a 3-hit combo. It's jab, jab, upward jab, right? And if you do that, you hit it in the right place in the head, right? It stuns it. You do it again and again, and you can stun lock it, which will keep it in place, which allows your teammates to run in with barrel bombs or to run in and fuck up its wings so it can't fly away, or to trap it and
shredder ammo, man.
Essentially, yeah. It basically keeps the monster in place, but if you fucking miss, then it's going to make you pay for it really hard.
Now, in this one, they have the new mechanic where you've got the mount, and the mount is everything. You can swap.
The mount was in. They started using mounts in Rise. Yeah.
Okay. Because I wasn't a fan of the mount when I tested the beta. It felt weird because I kept summoning it when I didn't want it. It's like, wait, no,
the keys are awkward, at least on the controller.
It didn't let you remap it. You couldn't remap the controller in the beta.
Yeah,
I'm hoping they let you remap it in the main game because I did not like where my action button was.
Yeah, like I would want to bring up a menu. I'd be pushing to bring up a menu, type, or at least that's what it felt like. But instead, it would call your fucking mount because you press up on the key, and usually when you're using the keypad, the direction pad, it's to bring up menus. And so every time I'd be like, just from habit, I'd be like, I need to heal, and I hit up, and you whistle, and your fucking chocobo wannabe would jump up your ass, the little raptor or whatever the fuck you're riding.
No, it does have the option of switching your weapon out. Your backup weapon is on the mount, so you don't have to go back to town and get a different weapon. That's interesting. So
you should be able to map a radio menu that will help navigate.
This was beta. This was beta.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure in the real game they'll have.
I'm not saying they won't let it in beta. I could not remap my buttons, which I really want.
No, you can't. You can't change your buttons in any of these games. That's something you're gonna have to get used to. And like I told you before, Adam, count your lucky fucking stars that you are not using like Monster Hunter 1 and 2 controls, because your attack button was your right analog stick.
Yeah, you told me.
And you had to get the directions right, or you fuck up your combo.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I know I was fine with it when I was playing World, but I don't remember what playing World was like. This is like 6 years ago when I played World, so I don't remember. I obviously I did fine because I got through the main game as it was at then, I was playing with somebody. Like I said, it's going to be coming down to muscle memory, but that is a game I'm looking forward to playing. Going back to games looking forward to this year, that's a game I am looking forward to playing, but that's a little down the road, probably more end of spring, summer when I'll get around to it. Because remember, this is our crew we're talking about here. We're not exactly timely in gathering to do shit. So just because it launches in 3 weeks doesn't mean everybody's going to be ready to play it in 3 weeks.
That might take that long to download, from what I hear.
It was a chunky game, even on the there's a lot to it. So I'm not exactly worried about missing out on playing with the game because, like I said, we're not exactly timely in doing our shit. But go ahead.
If Capcom's track record is anything to judge by, they're going to be actively supporting this game for at least 2 to 3 years. So it's not like you don't have time.
Yeah. And we go through phases right now of the shit we're playing, and that's one of the ones I'm interested in playing because we can get, like, if it's a full hunt, we can get a bunch of us in there at one time. We're not locked into like Dark Tide. We're only 4 of us at a time. So it should. I think I read it's up to 6.
They're letting more than 4 people in.
I might have read 6. I think I might have read 6. If it's not like a raid boss, maybe I don't know. I might have misread that.
I think you can have up to like 12 people in your lobby group thing, but 4 can go on the hunts. But it might be 6. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Like you, but yeah, you should be able to have pretty much everybody you want to play with in a lobby. But yeah, you should only be taking like 4 people along per hunt. That's
okay.
One of the ways that they kind of nerf you a little bit, because if you could take a bunch more fucking people, there would be no challenge at all.
Mm-hmm. Unless it's like one of the giant raid bosses that I remember seeing. Like I remember in right when I stopped playing World, they had released this giant gold dragon motherfucker.
Yeah, Kovateroth.
Yeah, and that required like 12 people to go after.
Kovateroth is a pain in the dick because it's not like a regular hunt. It's damage checks.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, DPS race.
Yeah, DPS checks, and then and then later on you get Elatrion, which that whole fight is based on not only DPS checks but elemental DPS checks, specific elemental DPS checks, and if you do not meet that shit, you will die.
I figured probably what will happen is when it first comes out, I think Shock and them want to play it some more, so I'll probably get it and play it with them, and then when you guys get it and you're ready, I can play with you guys.
Yeah, I mean,
that'll work.
Samuel's learning curve is short. Mine is relatively short, so it would.
I'm sure there's going to be some stuff I'm going to have to learn on the fly, but the last couple of games had a pretty comprehensive tutorial.
Oh yeah, but I mean, you're a veteran, so it's not going to take you long. And I've played a game before, so I'm not exactly a complete and total noob. I know what goes into it. I know how to fight these things, is what I'm saying. I know I'm not used to it. So I mean, like a month or so of you guys playing it together, you learn how to play the game, so that when more, like I'll say it, when a couple more experienced players come in, we're ready to just put ourselves in there, and then we're able to gel faster. We're not waiting for you guys to figure it out. Is what it is.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I could probably talk. He hasn't been online on any of the panels in like 2 years, but I could probably talk Maester Chow into playing. He's got as much time on this series as I do, and I've been playing with the guy for like 15 years. And T-Raw, she's pretty damn good at what she does. She specializes in a few things that
Yeah, so it's not a bad thing to have the noobs play for a while before more experienced players come in, so that we can just go lock it in and go. So
yeah.
All right, let's move on. I got 2 things left. Let's talk the DCU announcements they got today. I want to talk about those because we spent a lot of time over the past year commenting how James Gunn didn't seemingly have a very good idea or plan for his Chapter 1 Gods and Monsters. And in the recent past couple months, since we've been now on the road to Superman, it feels like he's thrown a lot of that out and admitted so today, because it starts with the first one I saw earlier today. We made a big deal. How the hell were they going to even do the Authority? Well, looks like the Authority's out. Ain't gonna happen anytime soon. So I'm not surprised because even for James Gunn, it was going to be, from what I understand, I have like the bare minimum knowledge of the Authority, just so I have enough to talk about it. This was going to be a hard sell to people, especially with the McGay romance tossed in there. Now that kind of shit, the pandering to those fools, is over. So this is the first one I saw today, and I thought, wow, okay, they've cut this one out. We've also had it officially announced today that the Matt Reeves The Batman will not be the official DCU Batman. Not going to happen.
Yeah, but I don't think too many of us thought that was ever actually going to be the case.
Some did. No, some were really saying, "Oh, it's got to happen. It just makes sense. It was a successful first movie. Penguin was a successful show. They have to do it."
Talking about how that was like a Elseworlds kind of thing, like in the beginning too, didn't they? That was kind of the plan. There's like, we'll have this Batman over here, and then we'll have the Batman that we're going to fold into all of the other stuff, which is goofier. It's less serious.
Now we have I think I accidentally closed that tab, but there was announced today that they've started work on the script of the Batman DCU, but Matt Reeves is allowed first look at it, apparently. Why, I don't know. If he's not,
that's not the movie he's doing, so why does it matter?
I don't understand. And James Gunn is working closely with it. It is confirmed. It is going to still be Bruce Wayne and Damian Wayne.
Oh, so fucking hell.
Yeah, it's confirmed. It's confirmed.
Geez.
So and that's clearly still 2 years off. Now, at the same time, they announced today they are halfway done filming Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. That's half done. They started filming in January, and they are now halfway done.
I kind of forgot that was happening too, because they scrapped the last Supergirl movie.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
they should.
Millie Alcock will be Supergirl, and Momoa will be. And there's a comment today that there will be no leaks of Momoa in his Lobo makeup because it's been shot indoors a lot, so there's been no outside snooping for Momoa in his Lobo.
Motherfucker better be in whiteface.
So there was all that, but that's not even the things that none of that. I don't think any of that is controversial, though. Really, what I just stated, it's shit we kind of already knew, and it's shit we already said is going to be very hard to get over with audiences, because you don't know. The Authority was going to be the hardest one, but another Batman and the Millie Alcock Supergirl, not because it's Millie Alcock, just because it's based on a Supergirl run that is not popular. So we got a problem with that.
None of this matters if Superman Legacy fails out of the gate.
Well, that's the final. That's the final key to all this. But they also announced that here's their master plan. They want to. For the next 6 years, they're going to build to the Justice League now, and they're going to have. Let me see the right one here. Where is it?
Give us one fucking good movie.
Okay. Now they've also, but at the same time, but now as I said, they are now rejiggering. Very careful when I say that. Rejiggering the Gods and Monsters lineup, because now it's official. There's going to be a Teen Titans movie.
I mean, look, the Titans are great characters, but the last several times that they were done very poorly.
Yes, either the live action show or Young Justice seasons 3 and 4.
Also Teen Titans Go.
Oh, well, that abomination. I don't even think about that abomination.
Yeah.
But so they're doing Teen Titans. But here's the thing. Remember James Gunn's statement: if somebody voice acts something in a cartoon, it's going to be the same person live action. That's why Frank Grillo will be reprising his Rick Flag Sr. in the Waller show. That's confirmed. That's coming out. And I mentioned that because they've announced they're doing a Teen Titans thing, but they also announced they want to average 2 animated shows a year. And the 2 animated shows for 2025, one of them is Starfire.
I have questions.
Ask away.
Will it be taking place on Tamaran?
I don't know. Nobody knows. Well, I don't know about the Starfire because I haven't found a blurb for that, but we have found the blurb for the second show. And have you heard what that is yet today? Am I gonna
No, I
surprise
haven't.
you?
I haven't paid attention to any of this.
Okay, all right. So, in the vein of My Adventures with Superman, My Adventures with Green Lantern.
What?
Yes, it's set in the same world, confirmed to be in the same world as
Christ,
My
they're going with
Adventures
Jessica Cruz?
with Superman, and it is, as you just saw, it's going to be Jessica Cruz.
Oh Christ! First of all, Jessica Cruz wasn't a Green Lantern on her own. I forget the other guy's name, but there was a dude who was her partner. That they are they cutting him out?
I don't know. She's going to be in high school. She's going to get the Ring of Power. She's not even going to be a veteran this time. She's going to be a high school student who gets the ring.
She wasn't an interesting character back in the day. I don't know why they would go with this one.
Yeah, so
because it's a girl.
Well,
why the hell can't we just have Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan?
Because they already have the live action show that's going into production in the next month and won't be coming out till next year. Lanterns with Hal and John. And we already have a bowl cut in the movie coming up. So
nobody cares about Guy Gardner.
I know that's the point. It's kind of the point.
Kyle Rayner is a great character. Hal Jordan is a great character. We could use either one of them.
But Hal's already taken in a product. Even though these are different things, even though the My Adventures bullshit is not part of the DCU, it's still they already have Hal in something, and they're not going to reuse him for this. Now, our friend Bug lost his mind when this came out today when he found out it's a My Adventures with.
That's so fucking.
It's bad, and it's
my Lesbo Adventures with.
Maybe, just maybe. And go ahead. So now, this is dumb. This is really dumb, but it gets worse because we know that there is the Clayface movie. I mean, Samuel, you're our horror guy here. Are you interested in a body horror movie of Clayface with no Batman?
Okay, so yes and no. Depends on which Clayface. There are 12 of them.
It's the one that was featured in Creature Commandos.
Yeah, I don't remember which one that was. Was that Basil Carlo?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. We'd have to ask somebody that watched it.
Basil Carlo is the best Clayface. He was the one that was the Clayface in Batman the Animated Series, the actor, right? Who was putting on the makeup that changed him, and then he went fucking crazy, right?
To read it right here, this is an origin story for this Clayface in the DCU. And I believe Alan Tudyk voiced it in the show, and it will be Alan. Therefore, they have said it will be Alan Tudyk in the movie.
I think gonna have to distort his voice or something to make it fit when he's all monstered out or whatever.
We're gonna have to get our hands on somebody who watched the show, who watched Creature Commandos, to tell us what he was like in that, because a lot of things from what I hear didn't make sense. So it's gonna be R-rated body horror origin story for Clayface.
I don't have an issue with the concept as you present it to me right now.
My issue is the fact that we have another Batman villain without Batman. And we are still 2 years away from the DCU Batman movie. And this was not a part of the original Gods and Monsters lineup. This has now been put in there, and they're going to start. So I don't understand this logic.
It's you think they would learn from what they've been doing with the Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery, right? Every single movie they did, except for I think the first Venom, fails. No one wants to watch the villains without the superheroes. They're not there to be their own thing. They're there to make the hero a hero. This whole idea that people want to watch Morpheus. No, they didn't want to watch Morpheus. People want to watch. Yeah, people want to watch Kraven the Hunter. They obviously didn't want to watch Kraven the Hunter. It's just stupid to me.
I'd agree, and I think that the first name that you brought up is probably the best example of like where that goes wrong. Like the difference here is that Clayface's origin happens independently of Batman, right? Whereas Venom's origin is contingent on Spider-Man taking part in certain cosmic events in order to happen at all.
But my problem is for Clayface, his origin. You're right. A lot of the origins of villains in Batman's Rogues Gallery do not require Batman. They happen on their own. But to make them interesting, to make them alive in the world, you need Batman. You need them doing something where Batman gets involved. I personally am not interested in a story of Clayface unless Batman's out there to stop him from doing something.
So let me throw this at you.
Okay.
I think that it's important that they establish that Batman is in this world, but I don't know that he necessarily has to play a role in this movie. And hear me out here. There was a 8-issue run from Image years ago called Sam and Twitch, right? It was about the 2 cops who were in the Spawn comic books, but they were doing their own thing. It was kind of a detective noir thing. It wasn't supernatural at all. Spawn shows up, I think, in 2 cameos, and one of them, he's just leaping over a rooftop, and Sam goes, "That fucking guy," but that was they established that these 2 characters are from this world. The other fantastical elements in this world do exist in this world. They are just not present for this story, right? So they could do something like that with Clayface and just kind of like, I don't know, shine the fucking bat signal in the sky or some shit like that one night, during the movie, or have Batman like chasing down some criminals in the distance or some shit like that, just to establish that Batman is in this world. Because otherwise, yeah, I totally get your point. I'm totally with you on that. But as long as they establish that, I don't really have an issue with this kind of thing. I haven't watched Penguin, but from what I hear, even like, people who were dead set against this stuff have actually very much liked it. They thought it was a great show.
Everybody came around on it. Yeah.
Batman's not really in that either.
Not in it at all, from what I understand.
Yeah. So like it could work. It could if you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I don't have faith. I don't have faith.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't either.
I don't have faith in any of this. So this is like the new lineup that they're going with. And to bring it back to what you guys said, it is all meaningless if in, let's just say March, April, May, June, if in 5 months Superman doesn't fly, if it falls, if it is not $1 billion critically acclaimed, fans love it, it will fail. It can't be middling. It can't be, oh, we kind of like it. No, it has to be one of the greatest movies in years. And things continue to line up and point in the direction of, I am not sold that it's even a mid movie right now. So James Gunn's plans all these different things, couple years before we get a video game for anything. I mean, no tie-in video games, no tie-in merch, something. I don't trust any of this at all, because I don't think, and if you're a James Gunn fan, fine. The guy is a creative dude. He makes good movies. He is a good director. He gets great performances out of his cast, but I don't think he makes these films for fans. I think he makes these films for himself.
Yeah, and I mean, look, he's not going to be directly hands-on with most of this stuff anyways.
Superman's the only one. That's the only one he's hands-on with.
And that's kind of like, I could see him doing a Clayface horror movie. James Gunn specifically directing something like that, because he has done body horror before and he's done it well.
But I don't think he is. I think somebody else is doing the Clayface film.
That's an issue.
Yeah. So DCU, this is all very interesting news today, but it's all moot if Superman is a bomb. So it's another wait and see. I don't mind wait and see. I think it's good that we should wait and see, but I'm tired of waiting and seeing at this point, because these things are taking so long to come to fruition. And my faith is so shallow in all of this. I don't. If I had faith and hope, I'd be fine waiting. But I need confirmation to know if I'm going to get invested right now. And so far, the opening salvo, Creature Commandos, a couple of the small things, I am not invested. I am not interested. And the DCU has begun because Creature Commandos, it has begun. I even saw they're going to be doing a 4-part specialty thing for Crypto with the dog that's in the movie.
Jesus Christ. They just, it's not even the right fucking breed of dog. I don't give a shit that James Gunn likes that breed.
We'll wait and see. And I hate to say it again, but we have to wait and see. But I don't have a lot of faith in it right now. If you have faith in it, I'm happy for you. You are a more positive person than I. All right, we go. Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I wouldn't say I have faith. I just say that it's possible that it doesn't suck.
It's possible. Well, you know,
I'm not a big fan of faith, so
you know what does suck? Disney Star Wars. Oh boy, does it suck. So people have been complaining. The stands have been complaining that where's the Andor season 2 trailer? We're only a month away. Where is it? Me. Well, guess what? They dropped it today. I'm good. Samuel, you already said you haven't paid attention to stuff today. Devil, I asked you earlier. I haven't watched it yet. So guess what we're going to do now? We're going to react to it.
Can you guys give me 1 minute? I got to go change something over.
Okay, fine.
Sure.
We'll fill the air. Thanks, Devil. I
didn't watch Andor the first time around because Cassian Andor died in Rogue One. There's no point. None of his backstory fucking matters because I know where it ends.
Well, it shouldn't matter for multiple reasons. One, it's Disney Star Wars, so it's all fake. But two, like you said, this dude dies, and he's like the most uninteresting character in that movie.
I'll give you that too. He was kind of boring compared to everybody else, including Jyn Erso,
who was not even
wooden herself,
who was basically borrowing her life story from her EU counterpart, whose name suddenly escapes me, from Dark Forces.
It's June something, or isn't it?
Yeah, Jyn. Yeah, Jyn Erso or whatever. I don't remember it. It's been it's like little blip in the matrix there in my brain. All I remember is Kyle Katarn. That's all I ever remember from that one. Of course, because Kyle Katarn is Kyle freaking Katarn. But
essentially, Finn from the sequel trilogy stole Kyle Katarn's story too. Except then they aborted it halfway through.
Yeah. So what you have here is, I did watch Andor season 1, or at least I watched most of it up to a point because that's when my computer died temporarily, and I was in the middle of reviewing it, and then I didn't have my computer for 3 weeks, so I kind of lost my momentum. And by the time I got it back, it was done and over, and the stands were jerking themselves off, and everybody who had a brain was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, fine." And I will say this. There's 2 things I want to say, just because we're buying time till Devil gets back. One, I will give the show one piece of credit. They took it seriously when they made it. It didn't, even though a lot of it was bullshit, and I will stand by all my statements when I reviewed it, they took their time to make a real show, not Mandalorian volume crap.
Yeah, like with a plot and everything.
Yeah, I may think the plot is stupid. I may think all these characters are fanfic and dumb, and their motivations are retarded, and they are butchering the actual workings of how the Empire worked during this period of time, and making Mon Mothma a pathetic mommy drama bullshit crap and all that. But the show was put together well and shot well. I can be a big enough man to say that, but everything else about it was garbage and boring and poorly integrated, and it even has a problem with its own continuity, because I've seen a lot of defend now. The Andor stands are out in force today with this trailer, and they're saying, "Oh man, Tony Gilroy, he's just doing his own thing. You can't judge this and that because he's admitted he's not going to follow the rules on Star Wars. He's do his thing." Well, as we start this trailer now, I do know because I did have it start on its own when I was loading it up, and also because I've heard some commentary today. The track that's going to be playing as do this, which is why we're going to be pausing it regularly to give commentary so I can argue fair use. It's a country music track or a country rock track.
Honky tonka donka donk.
I don't know. We're gonna find out right now. So we have a woman who. So as we start this, just right away, this is the opening frame. This woman is walking goddamn dogs.
Dear Christ! Why do they have dogs?
They look like dogs. You can see they're fucking dogs.
Why do they have dogs? Is my question.
I don't know. This is Disney Star Wars at its finest, where they make fake looking aliens that are. I mean, yes, these dogs have makeup, but they're still basically fucking dogs.
Okay. I mean, like they put some spikes and fucking tusks on a dog pig thing to make targs in Star Trek, but it worked.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. I've seen parts of this without audio, so this is essentially my first reaction. Here we go. We're going to react to Andor Season 2 trailer for the first time. Here we go. 1 minute, 35 seconds. Let's see if we can survive this. I'm already done.
I mean,
1 second. He made it 1 second, folks.
I mean,
even Az made it longer than that, dude.
A guitar riff. If John Williams,
like the Spy Hunter soundtrack.
If John Williams was dead and may he continue to live because we love John Williams, he'd be turning in his grave right now.
This is probably why he's retired, by the way.
You know, he unretired.
Oh,
he unretired. He unretired at the end of last year. He unretired. He's gonna keep doing stuff. All right, goddamn fucking guitar. This is Disney Star Wars to the T. Let's make it modern, real world as much as possible. Goddamn. Okay, so right away we're watching Cassian as he's doing his rebellion work, or as we're hearing it, I believe they're gonna use the term revolution a lot.
I mean, of course, because it was written by commies. I'm assuming this is the back of his head we're looking at here, because we haven't seen
this is Cassian. On various missions. You got to remember, this season is taking place over several years, and every 3 episodes is a time skip as they lead up to Rogue One. And I'm going to tell you something when we're done with this, just to show you how much faith they have in this. Let's keep going.
We're in a war. You want to fight? Or you want to win?
Stop. More great dialogue.
That's right up there with like Man of Steel. You know, this only wins in one way. Either you or I do. That's terrible.
Why? What is this? A cornfield? I'm going to be hyper nitpicky.
Maybe it's
on
Castle.
These frames.
If you build it, they will burn it down.
Oh, they burned it down a long time ago. All right. You notice they have to claim hailed by critics everywhere. They have to get that in there.
It was certainly talked about by critics everywhere. Sure.
And ignored by audiences everywhere, except for a handful of people who say, oh, it's the best thing Disney Star Wars did. And I will remind people, it's still Disney Star Wars. All roads lead to Jake Skywalker. You cannot have a la carte. You can't just take this and say, oh, Andor was good, we can keep Andor. No, you can't. Because you still get Rogue One, and it still leads to everything else. So it's all bullshit.
Last night a dream.
No.
What
shitty ass singing.
Fuck is this? Like whose music is this?
I don't know. And I've already seen some particular stands out there going, you don't understand. You need to go listen and read the lyrics separate from the trailer because it has meaning.
I understand that it sounds like, a country music version of Jack White who sucked too.
Oh God! All right, let's. I go back a second because we didn't comment on Saw Gerrera. We need more Saw Gerrera. Give me a fucking break.
Yeah, that guy keeps popping up everywhere, and I like Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker's an outstanding actor. Forrest Whitaker's great, but this character's trash.
Aren't you playing a Jedi Survivor right now?
Samuel? I am. Yeah, I'm on my my new game.
Yeah,
Plus
they force him in that. Yeah, they force him on you in that game, don't they?
He's mentioned like 3 times, and he's only shown like he's got a character, a profile in your things, but he's not actually in the goddamn game.
Was he in the first one? I think he was in the first one then.
Briefly, yeah.
He's briefly in the first one, and then this one when you're on doing the Wookiee missions on
Kashyyyk.
Kashyyyk, yeah, shit. I think he's part of it too.
That is in the first one, yeah.
That's first one.
Is it? I thought it was in the second one.
Nope. First, for second one, you don't go to any familiar places. They're all Disney Star Wars worlds except for Coruscant.
But here's the thing: in a show that a lot are going to claim first season and this season, they're respecting the original trilogy so much. No, they're not. By forcing Disney Star Wars in it every second, this is not respecting the original trilogy. This is forcing Disney Star Wars characters in on shit. And no, their mommy drama on Mon Mothma is not Mon Mothma. It's mommy drama on Mon Mothma. It's not her. It's not the actual Star Wars character. Mommy drama on Mon Mothma.
Exciting.
All right, this will forever. It's like, I mean, Stellan Skarsgård wasted.
Yeah,
he does not look healthy.
All I know is that in the first season, people rave about his character. No, his character is very simplistic, very unnuanced, and it felt like to me that Stellan Skarsgård was mailing it in.
Well, at least I was.
That's what it felt like to me. And it's all this stuff. I was like, oh, these are the founders of the rebellion. No, you made up another character to be the founder of the rebellion. So shut up. The revolution starts. Okay, so there's his girlfriend from the first season, and now she's part of it with him. And now they're gonna do this.
Now.
All right, Ben Mendelsohn, great actor, but. Great director Krennic is his name.
He was the guy in the beginning of Rogue One, wasn't he? The one who had
he's the one that was. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, again, why is he wearing a cape? I don't know. That was a stupid thing in the movie. It's a stupid thing here. Tarkin oversaw the construction of the Death Star. Yeah. I know. I mean, yes. What's his name? Oh, I just forgot the actor's name. Played Tarkin. I just completely lost it.
It's Peter. Fuck, I can't remember off the top of my head either.
Yeah, I
very famous Peter Cushing. Yeah, he was a very famous
Cushing,
actor. Did a lot of horror movies back in the 60s and 70s.
Worked with Christopher Lee on a lot of stuff. Yeah,
a lot.
Those dudes were like friends. I mean, yes, Peter Cushing is dead. He cannot resume his role as Tarkin, but. Don't take away the character's agency.
Yeah, Tarkin's not dead at this time.
No, right? He's not.
He doesn't die till the end of A New Hope.
He's the third most powerful man in the Empire after Palpatine and Vader. He's Grand Moff. He's essentially the head of the bureaucracy in a way.
He's actually a lot closer to on the same level as Darth Vader politically.
Well, I mean, he's the only. I mean, if you use New Hope as a reference, Tarkin's the only one Vader will listen to.
He's also the only one who will tell Vader to knock it the fuck off, too.
Yeah,
and the thing is, with nowadays with CGI and the stuff the way they is, they don't have to. Now that I'm saying they should use CGI, I hate when they overuse CGI, but they don't have to. A character that dies, an actor that dies, it doesn't mean you can't have them in at least visible in a movie.
Well, here's the thing. If at the end of Revenge of the Sith, when you see Tarkin on the bridge of the Star Destroyer with Palpatine and Vader, I just something else I forgot his name. That's a dude who played Scorpius in Farscape. They brought him in just to be the body for it. That guy is a fantastic character actor.
Yeah, just recast him.
Just to bring him in. That dude,
there's no reason they can't recast the character. Obviously, Peter Cushing's not available.
But no, they have to go with what they created in Rogue One. Again, no shots taken at Ben Mendelsohn, great actor, but they have to use their Disney Star Wars character. That's what they have to do. And we have to see the construction of the Death Star from his perspective. I mean, and he has to be a character in this. And this is also, again, the failure of this kind of show. It's a zero stakes show. Even if you, because it's Disney Star Wars and Disney movie, we know exactly where this all ends. Why does anybody with a brain care about this? You're not getting any real Star Wars lore out of this. It's all Disney Star Wars. So the people again who say, oh, it's like one of the best things Disney does. We can accept this. It's fine. No, it is still Disney Star Wars. All roads lead to Jake Skywalker. Let's keep going.
What a swell party this is.
I don't care what he said. Doesn't matter. Oh, look, it's the prototype X-Wings, guys. It's the prestige drama. Oh, yeah, fuck you, Rolling Stone. We know what you're worth after what you did today. We know exactly what you're worth, trying to pick apart Thriller, the album. F you. The prestige
Did
drama.
they? I didn't see that either. I haven't followed Rolling Stone in like
well, I just saw the tweets. I saw the tweets. They tried to get attention today by saying the last track on Thriller is what keeps it from being one of the greatest albums of all time.
Fuck off. It is one of the greatest albums of all time.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Keeps it from being fuck you.
Exactly. Prototype X-Wings. Fuck you.
Oh God.
This is like commie bullshit. The revolution starts now. And people were quoting this online. This isn't a revolution. It's a rebellion. A fucking revolution.
Yeah, see, a revolution. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, there is a distinction there.
Yeah,
they're trying to use the word. We know why they're trying to use the word.
Well, yeah, because they're commie goddamn Marxists. That's what.
Yeah.
All right,
and it further distances themselves from George Lucas, who said rebellion.
Because what did they do in the sequel trilogy? Resistance. Resistance. That is the second or third time they've had to say critically acclaimed. They're working hard now.
Prototype TIE Interceptor.
Yes, it is. It's a better look at it. You're gonna get okay. Here's Mommy Drama and Mon Mothma at a dance party. This just screams Star Wars, doesn't it? Just screams Star Wars. Waiting for it.
More of those assholes.
And just pausing for transformative purposes.
Oh, look, it's Tobey Maguire.
Actually, this guy's actually a very good actor because he was in Poldark. He's a good actor, good British actor, but they don't utilize him well in this.
Yeah, this whole thing looks like a Marxist revolution.
There it is.
The fucking wingspan isn't even right on that. Jesus Christ, it's not.
And everybody with a brain knows that Vader's personal TIE fighter was the prototype for the TIE Interceptor.
Yeah.
These are idiots who are just. This is jingly keys. I guarantee every goddamn stand out there is like, look, TIE Interceptor prototype, TIE Interceptor prototype.
Yeah, this shouldn't exist until after fucking A New Hope, man.
Yeah. And it's like Cassian's probably in the cockpit shooting shit up.
Remember this moment. You're here. You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
What?
Saul needs a haircut.
Well, I'm just saying. Again, Forrest Whitaker, great actor. That was shit.
Yeah.
That was shit.
That was like Battlefield Earth shit.
Which he was in. Which is why
that's why I mentioned it.
Don't insult that masterpiece.
Shut up.
This okay. Okay. Well, he's going to James Bond it here. Oh, F you, dude. You are about the most uninteresting actor and person ever. Your character's uninteresting. You're uninteresting. You have no range. And let's be honest, no one can understand what you're saying half the time.
What's
But
up?
It doesn't
with
matter if he's got range or not because they're not writing him anything to work with.
And so go ahead, Devil. Go ahead.
His long hair slicked back. It looks like some redneck fucking trying to get ready for his wedding. It's just
pompadour. Got the pompadour.
I think it's supposed to look like Johnny Cash in that shot, actually.
Okay, so this comes out, says right there, April 22nd. We have literally a little under a month. I am on the record that I don't want, even though I reviewed Disney Star Wars, and this thing is a special thing where I kind of don't want to touch it. I'm going to need convincing.
It wants to touch you.
No, it sounds like no, I'm not going to do that. But at the same time, now, last time they had that 3-episode premiere, which is what they all do. All the streamers do this because they want to get those million to billion minutes viewed bullshit. All right. You guys want to know what the release schedule is for this show after the 3-episode premiere? You want to know?
Sure.
I'm going to tell you. It has been revealed that the 12 episodes, they're going to release 3 episodes every week.
And you said there's a time skip every 3 episodes.
Yep.
So they're essentially breaking this apart into like what, 4? How many episodes total?
12. There's 12 episodes. So
4 movies essentially.
And and what they could have done is 4 weeks, 3 episodes per week. To me, this shows no faith in this. Because if you had something powerful that people are going to want to talk about, you'd stretch this thing over, take away the first 3, you have another 9 weeks of discussion around your show. Instead, you're going to pump and dump this thing in a month. By the end of May, this thing is over. And think about the problem you have then. There are no more Disney Star Wars projects the rest of the year. None. They got nothing till next year with Mando and Grogu. They haven't even started shooting Ahsoka season 2 yet. There's Star Wars Celebration in Japan this summer, but that's just a lot of circle jerking weirdos out there. That's for the stands. Real fans don't go to that shit anymore, especially not in Japan. You realize how expensive a trip is for that to go to Japan?
I don't know. I can't afford it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Japan ain't cheap. So this is not good. And well, you could understand this is the perfect release strategy worked for me. This is the instant gratification for people who need the batch and for the stands, because the stands are going to talk about it. It's going to be talked about for literally a month, and then like the first season, poof. And let me get you this: how many do you think anybody's going to watch this? Do you think anybody's lining up aside from the stands to watch this?
I think you got the stands, and then you've got people who are going to watch it to, shit on it in the reviews in our circle, and that's going to be about it.
I think it's going to do better than like Ahsoka did and the Acolyte, but I still don't think they're going to.
You could piss on a window and do better than the Acolyte. I mean, come on.
But yeah, I don't think it's gonna do massive numbers. I don't think it's definitely not gonna be something that saves their asses from the failures they've been having so far with it. Mm-hmm. That's for sure.
I mean, listen, Skeleton Crew was a spectacular failure. Didn't even rate once on the Nielsen's. We know what Acolyte was. The High Republic is just a disaster. Nobody reads it. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares about it. And they've even lost people, the stands, when it comes to Mando Grogu. They've lost them on that. And let's be honest, Ahsoka ain't a winner either. So what we just saw here is more Disney Star Wars jingly key shit. There's no substance to this show. It's nothing. It's about characters.
No, this is filler.
Yeah, you know every single one of their fates in Disney Star Wars, because there's only one lore Star Wars character in this, and that's Mon Mothma, and they have destroyed her character in this. None of the other characters are Star Wars lore characters. Real George Lucas lore. George Lucas connected lore. Because I'm gonna wonder. You think they'll sneak a Vader cameo in on this?
Oh, you know,
Possible.
they might. Yeah.
Roll out Hayden in some armor. Because
Yeah, they
Hayden
might.
stuff, and I have no gripe with that. Hayden, make your money, dude. You're a good dude. Make your money. Get that Disney paycheck. You're fine with that. But I think towards the end they'll seek a Vader cameo in on this as it gets closer to the Rogue One to tie in to the only thing that people ever remember about that boring ass movie. Andor season 2.
I gotta say, I actually do enjoy Rogue One but I don't look at it as a Star Wars movie at all. I look at it as a pretty decent war movie.
Well, I said this when I was reviewing season 1. I say this about just about any of this shit. If you, especially Andor especially, if you take out every single Star Wars element and generic it up, would you put something else in there that isn't Star Wars, it still works. If they had just made this as a non-Star Wars product, it would be an average to mid-level show that would probably be enjoyable for a single watch, because you're not actually trying to overthink it and force the square peg into a round hole like they are with this.
Yeah. Well, I think the same thing could be said of Rogue One. If you took all of the Star Wars elements out, the movie still works.
And that's my point, which is why it's the same thing for Andor. You take everything that's Star Wars out of these things, they still work. That means it's not Star Wars.
Yeah. It's just bad freaking sci-fi.
It's mid to bad average science fiction.
Right, but then you got shit like Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett. If you take all the Star Wars shit out of that, it completely fucking falls apart. But it's still with Star Wars in it.
Well, that's my point. That's why I reserve that statement always for Andor and Rogue One. Now that you can add that into it too. That's why I reserve that statement for this. You take out the Star Wars elements, it still works. The other ones are so filled with jangly key Star Wars crap. And I say crap because it's like the worst kind of Star Wars jangly key crap. Then they fall apart because then they don't make any sense. But these shows, these 2 seasons and that, they would still make sense. They would still make all the sense in the world. And that's why it's not Star Wars. Andor season 2, I predict will be about as received as Andor season 1 was. Those who love it will love it. They'll pretend it's the greatest thing Disney has done for Star Wars. They'll lament that they haven't done more with it. And then it will be promptly forgotten as soon as it's over, because it is still, in the end, Disney Star Wars. And I don't know, Frank, if I would call, I mean, honestly, even Skeleton Crew wasn't Goonies in space. It really wasn't. It was just bad. It was just dumb. It was just stupid. And I don't regret my time watching it. I just wish I had I wish it had given me more to really rip on, because it was just a boring, dumb, stupid little show. Not even made for kids, made for childish adults. What?
You just, when you said the I wish I had more time thing, I just got this flash from did you just see the Denzel Washington remake of Man on Fire?
No.
There's a bit where he says that to a guy who's got a bomb shoved up his ass. He goes, I wish. He's like, well, last wish. And he goes, last wish, huh? Okay, I wish you had more time. And he walks away. And
I do remember that.
And he dies. Yeah. Yeah. It's a great fucking movie, by the way.
All right. That's everything I got. You guys got anything you want to throw in there? Anything you want to talk about? That's all I got.
I got the nerd out on like Suikoden and Monster Hunter, so I'm happy.
You're good. All right. Then we're done. Another show in the books. So pimp your wares, and we'll all go to bed. I'm tired. Devil.
Yeah, check me out every Friday going to Saturday on the pub. And check out in 2 weeks, the day before Adam does his 12-hour stream. You have Pub Busters, and yeah, we're getting everything ready for that. So check that out.
Yep. I will be, even though I won't be lined up for it, I will be. I guess I'll be simulcast streaming it as well in a way, because I'll still be streaming on my end. It's in the middle of my 12-hour. Oh no, it's the day before my television. Sorry, that's the day before my television. Yeah, the 7th is Pub Busters. Isn't it Abyssal Pub Busters? Samuel, are you getting involved in that too?
That's what I want to call it, because we were trying to get Sam and Lawrence in there so that they wouldn't have to put on a show that night. And
yeah, we're still discussing that, because essentially, like, I don't know, I'd have to. We'll talk about it backstage.
Yeah. I just heard it was bounced around. I want to make sure that
it's bounced around. It's something that I'm trying to figure out how to actually manage that.
Yeah, see, that's why
obligations to my audience. So
yeah, that's why I pushed my 12-hour stream to Saturday, so that I didn't have to try and integrate myself into that, and at the same time, then I could take advantage of the Ballbusters gaming night on Saturday night. So that works much better for me. Anything else, Devil?
Nope.
Okay.
That'd be it.
Samuel.
So this week, regular shit. We've got Abyssal Musings on Friday night. We've got Beelzebub right after that. We've got Screaming Into the Void on Saturday, and back here for Mellow Mondays. And I probably will be doing a Whispering in the Dark stream at some point during the week, either tomorrow or Wednesday, most likely. I haven't quite worked out yet, and it kind of depends on whether or not Amira wants to run a stream, because she didn't do one on Saturday, so she might want to do one in the middle of the week. So depending on like where her schedule ends up being, kind of depends on where that's going to land. But I will be doing one at some point this week, because it's February and I haven't done one yet. So look out for that.
Okay. As for me, tomorrow is Tuesday. I have, aside from, clips from this stream arriving tomorrow for easier access for videos, stuff like that. Rest of my week, only thing I say is Anime Odyssey is this Thursday. Jeremy and I are watching something called shut up. Watching Mashal, Magic and Muscles. It's a show. That's about all I can say at the moment. I have watched the first season, 12 episodes. I'm going to have thoughts. It's another one of those things that Dermy probably really loves. And it's not as bad as the last one where he really loves it and I hated it. At this moment, I found it to be very mid. That's the best I can say right now. I didn't really enjoy it.
I still think you guys should do some classics like Appleseed or something.
Well, here's how the thing works. The system works like this. As of right now, for each one, we'll choose 3, and then we play the game. We try to trick each other into choosing something. So it's whoever one of us picks like that. He keeps trying to trick me into watching Delicious in Dungeon, and I sniff it out every time. So
it smells like sex and despair.
So I frustrate him with that one. And there are some ones that we have on the docket that we're waiting. And I could say I want the show to be going to a wider audience. I want us have a lot of people willing and ready to sit down and enjoy stuff. Like we have a plan for Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, because Shock has never seen it. So we're going to do like a 3 to 4 month straight shot of that, where Shock's going to watch it, and then we'll come in every month and we'll go over each section of the show. I'll break it down into manageable seasons, because there are technically 4 seasons to it, but I'll break it down. But we're not ready to do that. I don't feel like the show is ready to commit to doing 4 or 5 months, 3 to 4 months of Brotherhood, because that deserves everybody raring to go and the audience frothing at the mouth for it. So I don't think we're there yet. But right now it's just kind of guesswork. So if one of us chooses Appleseed, the other one would still have to guess and be interested enough to pick it. It's the game we play. And eventually, eventually we are going to do a fan choice one. So like we do with Drive-In. So when that time comes, if you want to throw Appleseed into the choices, you're free to do that. And
I don't even like Appleseed that much.
Oh.
I just figure, it's classic anime. Like if I was going to throw something in, obviously Akira would be the first choice, but since that's the obvious one, I would probably go with Blood Plus.
Oh, Blood Plus is good.
Yeah,
that's 50 episodes of goodness. An incredible soundtrack, fantastic soundtrack. I've seen it all the way through twice. I've watched it all the way through twice. Yeah, that's a good one. Blood Plus is a good one. That'll probably show up at some point, but that's one of the ones that we broke it down over like a 2-month period because we can't do 50 episodes for one show because that's too much to cover in a discussion. So we do have Anime Odyssey this week. That's Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I don't think we have a guest this month, just me and Dermy. There probably won't be an Anime Odyssey next month because I'll be literally going away the next day, so I can't do a stream that night. Rest of the week, we did get our vote finished for Drive-In this Saturday. Right after the stream ended on Roundtable yesterday, one more vote came in and it broke the tie, and I immediately killed the vote so that we could end it because that was a thing. Show over as soon as got it, so we go last minute. So we will be watching, and if Legatus is still here, he's going to cheer because it was his pick. The Golden Voyage of Sinbad.
Nice.
My favorite Ray Harryhausen Sinbad movie. That's my favorite. I love that one. Dude, Tom Baker is the villain. Caroline Munro. Ooh. She's a tasty piece of meat in that movie.
Nothing happens in special effects without Ray Harryhausen. I mean, even George Lucas stole ideas and tech from Ray Harryhausen.
Ray Harryhausen he's a god. The dude should be put on a pedestal and worshipped for the work he did for special effects in the 60s, 70s, and 80s.
All the way back to the 30s, he did King Kong.
Really? Yeah. I didn't know that.
That was him.
Really?
He was very young at the time, but yeah, he innovated all of that stuff. As a matter of fact, in a city called Laramie in southern Wyoming, there's a natural history museum that's on the campus of the University of Wyoming, or UW. And in it, they've got, all kinds of shit like plesiosaur skeletons and that kind of thing. But one of the coolest things they have in the museum is the model for the Triceratops used in the original King Kong. And because the foam skin or whatever has kind of rotted away over the years, you can see the articulated metal skeleton that they used, and it is hyper articulated. Like, so they could basically make this thing do anything they wanted it to. It's very fucking cool.
That man, Ray Harryhausen, that dude he's incredible. Everything he did, even the cheesiest of those movies, look awesome because of him. So yeah, so we're doing. Oh, he lost him at the last second there. Damn it. He was there and he's gone. He's still in the. I think he took himself out by accident. There you go. You're back. Did you?
Yeah, I bumped.
Okay. I'm like, wait, it's like, where'd he go? He's still there. It wasn't shit or net. He's still there.
I'm still here.
So it will be Golden Voyage of Sinbad this Saturday. And then next week, did you mean to, your icon's gone?
Yeah, that's annoying. All right, we'll just go back to this for now.
I want to make sure your camera didn't actually accidentally go on. All right, so next week, following week, there probably won't be a drive-in because that's the 12-hour stream, and because Jed and I simulcast, and I'll be running everything through OBS that night for the streaming. There's not a way we can properly normally do it, so I don't think there'll be a drive-in on the 8th. So I think we'll go back to normal for the remainder of the month, for the remainder 2 weeks when we get back from that. Anyway, so and then of course Saturday, about Ballbusters. We're getting closer. We're 2 weeks away from the 100th episode where the mystery box will be opened. Dildo, Sonichu medallion, Dermichu medallion. Who knows what's in there? Either way, it's probably going to make Dermy cry, and we're all going to laugh about it. And then Roundtable this Sunday. I have no idea what the topics are going to be. I was surprised I had topics for this last week's show. So it's always a gamble. Never know. We'll see what happens. Either way. And I'll stick around normal takes, reviews, whatever news may happen that I find interesting. But thank you one and all for joining us this evening. Without you in the chat, subscribing to our channels and talking to us and liking videos and leaving comments, without you, we don't get to do this. You are the lifeblood that keeps us going. So thank you one and all. We hope you had a good time. We'll see you guys next time. Until then, take it easy, everybody. Bye.